What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to the coolest channel on YouTube. If you guys are brand new here, man, you guys don't know what we do. Don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. Everybody sit back, enjoy. Let's do what we do best, Seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Yeah, I know what we do. Let's seek the truth.
Can't liquid metal break down this McDonald's burger? That's the liquid metal. And almost nothing is happening to this burger. Watch when they pour it on the meat. Nothing happens. It just bounces off. Like nothing is happening. Stay weird, y'all.
Yes, first bit of footage from user Atom Heatom. We can see a man looking at a small insect on his finger.
36.
The weird thing is, it looks like the insect's been branded with the number 36.
Bro. What the hell? We got flying insects, robot drones or something, man? Was that a drone, basically? That has to be one of the most advanced drones I've ever seen yet, bro. It's like the pigeon theory, except with insects, man. Shout out to that, bro. If you know, you know. That definitely looks like a skinwalker or something, man. Everyone that back. Yeah, that's a skinwalker, bro. You caught this on in 4K too, bro. It's walking on all fours. What is that?
Hey, man.
His arms is crossed. What the? Y'all saw that?
I've never seen that before.
Being observed. By who?
Being observed by who? By who? What?
No, I don't
So a
know.
lot of people in my comments have, always been talking about Black Panthers, and I've done an episode over Black Panthers before on the podcast. But someone sent me a video, and I want y'all to tell me because I'm going to slow it down and everything, but that looks like no doubt a Black Panther. Like it's chasing 4 deer. He gets it while he's driving down the road, and I'm going to tag him in the caption. Dalton, or it's a 405 Dalton, out of Shawnee, Oklahoma. See about it. That's very interesting. Is the tail? They said the tail is always very interesting. It's longer in the way that it's running too, and also too they don't really give out a lot of bursts. The big cats are not really, besides the cheetah, they're not chasing. They're preying upon and then they're pouncing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and it's crazy out here in Oklahoma.
So here's the full video. If you saw the story, last night I saw something in the house that, as crazy as it sounds, to me looked like a vampire. I'm just going to show you the video. Here we go.
Okay.
Try it again. I'm hearing sounds up here, like somebody's moving around. This stuff's been happening, but as soon as I pull my phone out, everything stops. I don't know. I swear I heard somebody up here.
What the
Holy
heck?
shit, I don't know what happened. That thing vanished, and my camera stopped recording immediately. At the same time, it's gone. There's a slowed down version of what you saw, brightened and close up.
I see that.
I'm gonna post a still. I'm not sure how well you can see it. It turned like an old man to the door, lurched forward, and vanished.
Oh yeah, I'm out the house.
Honestly, at a loss for what to do from here, but I'll keep you guys updated.
I'm gonna give you a piece of advice, bro. Move. Simple as that, man. I'm out that house, man. So you can tell me down below, bro. Actually, comment that house emoji, man, if you moving out, bro.
So I haven't made this video since the spring, We got 10 inches of snow and 3 inches of ice, and the pool turned green. So now I'm going to put some metal reducer in the pool and see if that helps.
It's starting to clear up. You literally see it changing colors, bro. Check out the middle.
2 minutes after I put the metal reducer in the pool. Here's what 5 minutes looks like. After 10 minutes, it looks like this. Why are they spraying metal in the air? What benefit, other than geoengineering the weather, is there to poisoning the people of America? How long are we going to let them continue?
I hope this video reached millions of people because y'all deserve to know. But what I'm about to reveal to y'all is truly significant. What y'all know about nanobots, aka nanotechnology?
Not a lot.
It is by far the greatest weapon that we have against us today, by far. I've been knowing about this technology for a while now, but I know majority of the population have no idea this weaponry even exists. They have no idea. I was watching a James Bond film, out of all things, watching a movie, and it tells us exactly what it is and what it's designed to do. Are you watching it or is it watching you? Listen and pay attention.
All right.
Y'all heard that, right? Truth in plain sight. It got me thinking, how are they able to get nanobots in our bodies? Everyone should be asking that. They're doing it in several ways. There's a lot of trails in our skies. Wouldn't you agree? Look up, because there's something coming down. I have to speak in code and you know why. They're doing it through weather modification, like rain, snow, etc. They're also entering in by the very foods that you consume. So check the ingredients. Same thing with the water supply. The Matrix was hinting towards the same exact thing. Do you remember? But it was a parasite in Neo, aka nanobot.
I remember that scene.
Let me show you.
I think you're bugged.
What the fuck is that? What the absolute fuck am I looking at right now? What the hell? Holy shit. No, dude.
Oh.
What is that, chat?
It's like 3 UFOs?
What the fuck?
You called it.
Oh my god, I think it's the end.
Could be orbs.
I think it's the end. I've never seen that in my life. Oh my god. What, bro, what the fuck is that shit?
Oh my gosh.
What?
They
I
look
don't
like
know.
stars from far away
They're
though.
too far apart to be planes. Oh my god. Dude, chat, I think those are aliens. Why are they like that? Like, they would never, no plane would be lined like that, like one higher than the other.
According to new reports, Epstein hid secret files in storage units across the US, and authorities have never raided these lockers. So this comes from an exclusive report from The Telegraph published yesterday on the 22nd of February. They claim that Epstein paid private investigators to take sensitive material from his home, including the island, which included things like computers, CDs, photographs, and documents, and then placed them in 6 different storage facilities he allegedly paid for. In fact, The Telegraph claimed to have obtained credit card receipts which confirm that Epstein rented various storage units between the year 2003 all the way up to his death in 2019. And according to search warrants, which The Telegraph also claimed to have obtained, the US authorities have never raided these lockers, raising the question, is there a trove of evidence stashed in these units not yet seen by authorities?
Have to be, right? My thing is, why they not raiding those lockers, bro? They know where it's at. They store some information in there, so obviously that maybe there's some more files, bro. Why aren't they trying to get that extra info, bro? More questions.
Somebody said something because I was not going for that shit. I did not believe that nigga was Jim Carrey, bro. I said, ain't no way Jim Carrey gonna fuck his face up like that knowing he gotta do all them facial expressions he be doing. They said, that's the mask right there. The Jim Carrey that was seen in Paris was actually a fake and impersonated by artist Alex Stone. Bro, y'all think this real, bro? I just don't know what to believe no more, bro. I can't believe somebody could put somebody's face on and beat him. That's what I'm talking about, bro. They playing games. They playing games with real niggas. Jim Carrey, if you out there, can you please come and clear all this up? Get on live. I don't know. What y'all think, bro? Y'all think somebody put a mask on and was acting like Jim Carrey and received an award? If that sounds completely insane, all right, I'll let it go. I'll let it go, but I ain't make this up. Somebody else post this. I just found this. So y'all just let me know if y'all believe it or not. But if this shit real, I'm finna just start slapping everybody to see if they face move.
Now, I know I said, look at the race grades on it. I know I said I don't like big wings, but like, come on. Come on.
I mean, that's his best, bro.
They ain't even let it finish growing yet. I'm just gonna pluck this out. This is crazy.
That ain't a wing. Y'all hear that sound? What the? Is he the only one seeing that, bro? Because nobody else is going crazy, man. Imagine driving by and seeing that, bro. What's your first reaction?
Oh shit, y'all. Cuba and the United States is probably about to clash, fool. 4 people that was on a speedboat that was registered to Florida was unalived on Cuba water by their officials. So they was on the speedboat, 4 of them. I guess the driver didn't know that he was in the Cuba's water. He was on their land territory. One thing led to another. They started arguing back and forth. And then the Cuban official said that somebody on that boat started firing. And that's when they returned fire, unaliving all 4 that was on that speedboat. I can see a whole international situation now. A big problem. Because they decided to unalive some Florida folks, some US folks. Y'all already know that the United States and Cuba don't see eye to eye. They don't like each other. Could this situation be the reason? Could this be the plan all along? To go in there and...
Have you heard of the headless men known as Billionaires?
Nah.
These creatures were first mentioned by Herodotus in the book Histories written in 430 BC. Most of ancient history taught in Western academia is based on this literature. In this book, Herodotus speaks of a land in the western region of Libya. This land was inhabited by huge snakes, dog-headed men, wild men, and then men with their eyes and their mouth in their breast. The Billionaires are also mentioned in the Indian epic Ramayana. The demon Kamada is depicted as one of these creatures. The Chinese god Qing Shen is described as having no head with his nipples as eyes and his belly button as a mouth. There are even paintings of Alexander the Great encountering these creatures with his army. In one of the stories, he captures 30 of them to show to the rest of the world. These creatures have been mentioned in Africa, Asia, and even South America, and are all described exactly the same. These creatures are either metaphorical or actually existed. If they did exist, they were most likely the result of genetic deformity. The third explanation is that they were an ancient genetic experiment. God sent the flood to wipe out giants as well as strange flesh. Maybe these creatures are what strange flesh refers to. Just imagine stumbling on one of these creatures. More to come. Like and follow.
First time hearing about the Blummers, bro. It seems like they were wiped from the history books, man. So this is my first time hearing about it, bro.
Strange small object that we just flew by, a small silver canister. Do you know what that could be? 49er Kilo. We've had no reports in that area. What altitude and directions heading?
It appears to be standing still. I'm at 3,500 feet. It was right off our wingtip. Small silver canister.
Roger, thanks. Do you think it's a drone or is it like a balloon type?
I saw nothing attached to it. It was sort of hovering there. It was astonishing. I don't know what it was.
Creepy.
I want to believe.
Chrono 402, contact approach on 125.75.
25.5, 402. Good luck with the aliens.
Oh, damn. He just said, good luck, bro.
Gila? Do I know you? You like Gila?
No, sorry.
No? I used to order hella pizza off for shower delivered, yeah.
Where's St. James? Okay. Put Facebook ID, face check.
Two alien skeletal remains have allegedly been recovered under a church in Mexico, right? Two bodies right here that you're seeing right now. Absolutely incredible. This was on News Nation with Chad Rubichel, who is a United States Marine Corps veteran, and with the TAD Recovery CEO, T.W. Mock, talking about the process, what happened, how they recovered these things, and what they found. The two skeletal bodies, and allegedly a carving as well, depicting these two beings with spears, the ones that are referenced. And these are dating back to around the 1600s. Now, there is talks that they are alluding to that a lot of these churches, and also spiritual sites, things of that nature, have been built on top of crash sites or things related to the UFO extraterrestrial phenomena, right? Now, allegedly, 13 operatives reportedly died while attempting a recovery prior to the two guys finally recovering these remains that we're seeing here. Check this out. It is incredible.
Okay, so we've got an image that we've put up here of what appear to be two skeletal remains. They're clearly not human. If we believe what you've been told about these remains, they date right back to the 1600s.
Correct.
Talk me through what we're looking at here. They appear to be non-human. Talk me through what you're looking at.
It resembles the artifacts that I found, the skeletal remains, and then subsequently, anyway, I was trying to process all of the information as it came together, and subsequently that led me to a place of saying, well, this isn't us, this isn't human.
You had a neighborhood where you had, every house had security guards, and those security guards were people that worked the same house for 10 years or 20 years. The knowledge they had of that house was extreme. And then if that neighborhood had an HOA with, call it private security, and those private security were also sort of around and knew everything, like what would happen? Like when a dog gets lost, you'd be like, oh my gosh, my dog is lost. Well, they would call each other, and one of them would find the dog very quickly. So how do we sort of change that and bring that into the digital world? Is
do you ever stop and consider that neighborhood might suck? Just like the idea that every house on my street would have all-knowing private security guards, and I would have an HOA, and that HOA would have a private security force. You can easily paint that to dystopia, right? Like everyone's so afraid that we have private cops in every corner.
I would assume you live in a safe neighborhood.
I hope so, yeah.
If you want, I'll take you to a place where people live that they have to, when they get home from school, lock their doors and stay in their house and they can't go out. But
I'm just saying that the model is everybody is so afraid that they have private cops. I
think the model is that doing crime in a neighborhood like that is not profitable. And I think that you want people to move into another job.
Bro. The Ring CEO, man. I still remember when that commercial came out, bro, people backlash against this so hard, and then a year, like, they took it off. They said they're not doing it no more, right? You know, they said Rings connecting where they found a dog, but people were afraid that could lead to something else.
These people are really playing in our faces now, because ain't no way that the Epstein list came out and McDonald's on the list, and McDonald's comes out with a new burger and they have the CEO trying it out, and this man look like he don't even want to eat it. He barely want to say his name. Are you kidding me? Bro, tell me y'all seen this video. If not, check this out.
It's Kay here with, you've heard about it.
No, we didn't.
Here it is, the Big Arch. This is something that we have tested already in Portugal, Germany, Canada. I love this product.
We don't care.
It is so good.
Just
I'm going to do a tasting right now, but I'm going to eat this for my lunch.
Just do it.
So here we go.
Do it right now.
Holy cow. God, that is a big burger.
Is that why they say holy cow? Because they want you to think it's a cow, but it's really, I don't know, y'all. I'm just trying to make, because why would they want you to think it's, the kids? Y'all see that? Hold on.
There's so much going on.
Y'all think these people are playing with us? Y'all think it's a game? Look what's behind him. Look, Herman Petty. Right? Isn't that what he's being? And matter of fact, he look like a Herman. He don't look like his name is Chris.
There's so much going on with this. First of all, let's try to get this thing. I don't even know how to attack it.
Translation, he does not want to eat it.
Crispy onions on here as well. I see those kind of coming out.
We know.
All right, the moment of truth.
Look at that.
That's small bite, bro.
Where's the bite?
That is so good. That's a big bite for a big arch.
Was that a big bite, bro? He just literally did the squirrel meme, bro. I know what I mean. We took a bite of Krabby Patty, bro. That ain't a big bite.
There's the bite.
Distinctively McDonald's. Only McDonald's can do this type of burger. And also is unlike anything else on our menu. It's a delicious product.
Did he just say it's unlike anything else on our menu? So what did McDonald's got some diabolical stuff going on? And he's at the top of it, y'all. Y'all not gonna sit here and tell me that he didn't purposely move out the way so y'all can see that he's being petty. This is the year 2026. If you're still feeding your children, I don't know what to tell y'all. Let me know what you guys think about this video, man. The shift is here. Let's continue to get it.
One of Jeffrey Epstein's victims was just found dead. This was Virginia Giuffre, and she played an instrumental part in helping bring Epstein's crimes to light. And just today, she was found dead only weeks after being hit by a vehicle and claiming she had only a few days left to live. This was the photo that she shared on her social media after her accident, and her cryptic post alarmed people. So Virginia is deeply tied into the entire Epstein story. She was a victim of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's early on, and she was actually recruited into their sex trafficking ring at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. She was approached while she was working there by Ghislaine Maxwell, and eventually found herself being trafficked by her and Epstein. Now, Virginia's most infamous accusations were leveled against Prince Andrew from England, and she claimed that she was forced to do things with him when she was just 17. She also made a lot of different allegations about a lot of different powerful men, but we'll save those for another time. Virginia dedicated her life after coming out with all this information to fighting and advocating for victims. Back in 2019, just one day after court documents were unsealed involving Ghislaine Maxwell and Virginia Giuffre, that was the day when Epstein was found dead in his prison cell. Let me know your thoughts on all of this. Obviously, my thoughts and prayers are with Virginia's family, but this is just absolutely horrific and shocking news.
What do you guys think, man? Too many eerie coincidences was lining up. She was a big part of that case, and then something happened. It's the math ain't mathing.
Does America have a new serial killer on the loose? Well, that's the question that residents of New England are asking after 8 bodies were found in roughly 8 weeks, all within driving distance of each other. 5 of the bodies have not yet been identified, but the 3 that were all women, and include 35-year-old Paige Fannin, who was found in a Connecticut river, Denise Leary, who is missing since September 2024, and Michelle Romano, who is found in Rhode Island woods. One Facebook group dedicated to the New England serial killer searched over 65,000 members before having to be renamed, and Google searches for that phrase has spiked massively in early April. Even Jane Borowski weighed in, who is the survivor of the infamous Connecticut River Valley killer, saying that the body count is suspicious and warned women to stay alert. However, talk online grew so much that the police in all 3 states had to finally make a statement, and they all pretty much said the same thing. They say that there is no evidence of a serial killer, that there is no confirmed link between the cases, and that ultimately there is no active threat to the public. A forensic scientist named Peter Valentine said that some of the bodies may not even have visible trauma, and that speculating before autopsies have been complete doesn't help.
These are the crazy things that are happening in the world right now. Kids today are running the mile 90 seconds slower on average than their parents did. A robotics company here in the United States is building robots using robots to build more robots. What? An artist was paid $84,000 to commission a painting for a museum. He sent back a blank canvas titled take the money and run. There was a blood drive held in Illinois called Bleed for Weed, where donors received a voucher for an eighth or 100 milligrams of an edible of their choice. As of this month, Amazon has removed the option to tell Alexa to stop recording you. DoorDash now lets you buy fast food and pay later. A babysitter who was checking under the bed for monsters actually found a man hiding under the bed. Over 4 million Gen Zers are jobless, and experts are blaming worthless degrees from colleges. A fake trucking company in Tennessee stole 80,000 pounds of meat worth almost $500,000. A U.S. soldier actually paid hundreds of dollars to ship soil from Texas to Italy so that his son could be born on Texas ground.
A really strange story was the picture that came out of the Varana cruise liner. Large ship that went down at the Atlantic Ocean in 2014, and nobody really knew why at the time. There were very few survivors of this, and the news kind of mulled over this for months. They were doing deep dives onto the ship to look for very sinister evidence and relics. Of those who did survive, they all kind of shared this very strange story because they claimed they saw something kind of unexplainable in the water. For a while, it just kind of continued as that. It was just a story. These things kept going on. People kept diving down there, trying to collect relics, evidence, anything they could from the ship. And they found this. The phone of one of the passengers who died, and even though it was waterlogged for a long time, it was still semi-functional. On the phone, this was a photo that was apparently found, leaked from an evidence bank in 2017, and it's hard to refute what this picture is. Unexplained shot of just someone standing in the water, eerily enough taken on the same day the ship sank.
The hell was that? Looked like she was levitating over the water.
10 fast facts about everyone's favorite cetacean, dolphin. Number 1, dolphins are some of the fastest animals on the planet and have actually been known to swim at speeds of up to 37 miles per hour. Number 2, dolphins actually have 2 stomachs, not 1. Number 3, they're some of the smartest animals on Earth and actually have been deemed to have a consciousness just how you and I have a concept of ourselves. Number 4, dolphins never chew their food at all. Number 5, they cannot be anesthetized because they actually have conscious breathing, and if you put them to sleep, they wouldn't be able to breathe on their own. Number 6, it's actually hypothesized they have unique dialects and specific names for each individual in the Potter family. Number 7, they can live for up to 60 years in the wild. Number 8, however, in captivity they only live for about 20 years at max, and most of the time it's much younger when they die. Number 9, they can get high off of pufferfish, and they do it quite often actually. Number 10, they can actually be gay, straight, or bisexual too, which is pretty cool. Go Pride.
Here are 4 insane science facts, and they just get crazier. It takes light tens of thousands of years to leave the sun. People think it takes 8 minutes for light to travel from the sun to the earth, and that's true, but it takes much longer than that from when the light is released. Because the sun is so dense, photons, light released in the core of the sun, can't travel more than a centimeter without bumping into a charged particle and being diverted. So they bounce their way around the sun for tens of thousands of years before they finally escape the sun and start their 8-minute journey to Earth. The biggest confirmed star, Stephenson 218, is so big that if you were traveling in a plane going 1,000 kilometers an hour, it would take you 1,200 years to fly all the way around it. Meanwhile, it would only take you 182 days to orbit the sun. The outer part of the sun's atmosphere, the corona, has always been a mystery to scientists because it's 300 times hotter than the surface of the sun. The corona is about 3 million degrees Fahrenheit compared to about 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface. And scientists aren't completely sure why. It could be mini explosions or magnetic waves. Who knows? There are 96 bags containing urine, vomit, feces, and other waste on the moon. The 6 Apollo missions that landed on the moon left these bags there to make room in their spacecraft for lunar samples. And of course, they remain there to this day, and actually scientists are really interested in opening them up and studying them.
Ruining Finding Nemo with science because I can and y'all can't stop me. Clownfish will eat unfertilized or damaged eggs, meaning Marlin would have sent Nemo to his mother, brothers, and any other past tense family. Clownfish are female dominated and they're sequential hermaphrodites, so when the lead female dies, the biggest male becomes the female and the second biggest guy becomes the guy. And in a clownfish colony, only the lead male and female mate with each other. It would have gotten real nefarious for Nemo. Male octopus, don't laugh, it's real. Male octopus have a special arm called the hectocotylus that is shorter than the others, and its job is to hand deliver reproductive the ragu was straight to the female. So when Pearl shows Nemo her special arm, two things. Pearl ain't a girl, and that is an indecency charge. The anglerfish that nearly sends them on a dinner date with Batman's parents is actually able to distend their jaws and stomach and swallow things physically bigger than they are. They stretch so much that one man went to the hospital after attempting to use an anglerfish's stomach the same way dolphins use beheaded fish, or chimps used a frog that one time. Blue whales eat by taking in boatloads of water and pushing that water out with their tongue and eating any krill caught in their baleen. Blue whales have a tongue the weight of an elephant, and it would have crushed Marlin and Dory off the Census and the sequel. Also, it would have been physically impossible for Whaley to shoot them off at Sydney, since a whale's mouth does not connect to its blowhole. Also, they don't shoot water out of there. It's just warm whale breath smelling like a century of tonsil stones and mummy morning breath. The more you know. I'm not sorry.
Facts you didn't know that could save your life. Now trust me, you're going to want to favorite this video because at some point in your life you might need it. If you are drinking a drink and suddenly it tastes salty, stop drinking it because someone has put something in it. If you ever see square waves in the ocean, get out immediately. These are powerful currents that can pull you under the water and kill you in an instant. Always hold your nose when jumping into rivers or lakes. This acts as protection against dangerous amoeba that will crawl up your nose cavity upon impact. If you feel like you're about to throw up, start humming. It is nearly impossible to gag while you're humming. If you're ever in a survival situation, only drink milk from the green coconuts. The brown coconuts aren't your friend because brown coconuts contain oils that cause dehydration. If your water smells like cinnamon, don't drink it. Some people often use this to cover up the scent of poison. If you ever get attacked or kidnapped, scratch your attacker. Their DNA will then be under your fingernails, helping the police to track and catch them.
He was giving us some gems, bro. Man, I always thought in the bottom when you was always supposed to drink the barrel coconuts, man. You know that's always in the movies and TV shows. But now you gotta drink the green ones? I guess that one's just pure water, and you said that one's oils. I never knew that, man. They try to set us up.
Here are some facts that you probably didn't know that one day could save your life. If your pupils don't dilate to the same size, there is a very real chance you have brain damage. A motorcycle helmet is stronger than a skull. Tea bags actually stop bleeding. They contain a chemical called tannic, which naturally clots your blood. If you're in the wilderness and desperately need water, you can take a plastic bag and hold it against the branch of a willow tree, and it will condensate drinkable water into the bag. Never put tools or heavy objects on the back seat or dash of your car. If you get into a crash, you might survive the collision, but these items could be the cause of your death. If you see vultures circling above you, chances are there's a predator nearby and it's about to make a kill. Grapefruits can actually mess with prescription medication, and the most common of these is birth control. So stay away, because trust me, you do not have the time for a grapefruit baby. If a canker sore in your mouth or tongue isn't going away after 2 weeks, you might want to get it checked out because it very well could be oral cancer.
More terrifying ocean facts. So, basically, an Australian fish processing factory, someone was cutting open a 5.5 foot long cod and outrolled a human head, which we don't know who it belonged to or where it came from. Also, on an Australian beach, a shark head washed up, and you might think, oh, someone like cut off the shark's head. No, something bit and ate the entire rest of the shark, leaving just a head to wash up onto the beach. Also, there is a new type of sound called Julia's sound, which we don't really talk about, but it is just as mysterious and just as loud as the bloop, and scientists also have no explanation for what it is. Further, there's something called red tides, which are basically massive algal blooms that are so toxic and deadly they wipe out all marine life in an area. Even people are at risk of dying, and they actually make the air around them so toxic it's deadly to breathe in. Also, there's a type of marine parasite that invades organisms, basically turns them into a slave and drives them like a car until they lay their babies inside of them, and the babies eat the flesh of the host, because yes, the ocean just loves to behave like that.
That sounds disgusting, bro.
This video proves that skinwalkers are real. In the Navajo Native American culture, skinwalkers are believed to be shape-shifting witches that take the form of animals. And as the legend goes, these creatures are dangerous spirits. Many people in North America have reported seeing these skinwalkers in real life, and there's even movies and TV shows about them. There are hundreds of videos online claiming to have caught a skinwalker on camera. However, this home security camera footage caught something very disturbing. The video at first appears to be pretty normal, just showing a family's backyard pool. But if you look closely to the right of their basketball hoop, it appears that some strange-looking creature is climbing the fence to their backyard. The creature looks to have a humanoid-like torso, head, and arms. And all it does is just climb up the fence and look around the backyard. If we take a closer look, we can see that the creature definitely appears to look like a human being. And just a few seconds later, the creature vanishes.
Fascinating as fuck. This video shows a tunnel book from the year 1830. It's made of a series of paper panels placed behind one another, creating an illusion similar to today's virtual reality headsets. Ooh. This is a photo of Cheddar Man, a 9,000-year-old skeleton found in Cheddar, England. Scientists then tested its DNA and found that a living relative was teaching history just half a mile away where the skeleton was discovered. Salvator Mundi by Leonardo da Vinci is the most expensive painting ever sold. It's actually quite likely this wasn't by da Vinci, but after it sold in 2017 for $450 million, art evaluators kinda just went with it. A study in 2012 found that the majority of men and women in long-term platonic relationships shared some level of both physical and sexual attraction. So yeah, there's a chance she's into you, bro.
Here are 3 weird feelings you have definitely felt before, you just haven't wanted to admit it, right? Like, you know when you see something really cute, like a puppy or a baby even, and you just want to squeeze it? Best way I can describe this is like, when you're hungry, you eat. You're not hungry anymore. When you're tired, you sleep. You're not sleepy anymore. But when you look at something cute, it's gonna stay cute unless you fucking kill it. Or you know how when you're up really high, you're just like tempted to jump? That's actually your brain working correctly. It's a survival instinct that just like misfired. Kind of like when you're driving and you're like, oh, I could just like turn into a tree right now. I'm holding this baby and I could just drop it right now. Your brain is telling you, don't do this thing by kind of like tempting you to do it. Or how you feel joy when somebody else is going through misfortune. Don't even try to deny it. It's not all the time, it's sometimes, but it's real. It's called Schadenfreude. And there's a weird little gratification that we get when people are going through cosmic justice, especially if we feel like it's deserved. I'm sure a lot of y'all felt it when I got canceled. But like this is the reason when people fall or spill something, or like those fail videos have millions of views.
Facts that could save your life one day. If you are choking or having a heart attack, get out of your car. You can't signal anyone if you're unconscious in your car, but if you're draped over the hood, that'll be sending a distress signal. If your car is stuck on a train track, run in the direction of the train itself. If you run in the same direction that the train is traveling, it is more likely you're going to get hit by the debris of your former car. Don't walk downstairs with your hands in your pockets. When crying for help, try and call some specific people, like, hey you in the red shirt, help, I'm being mugged. A lot of people will ignore a help call, so if you call someone specifically, they'll look at you. If people are really ignoring your help call, you can just try and yell fire, because people are gonna come running to see stuff burning. Use this helpful rhyme to remember what to do in the event of facing each kind of bear. If it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. If it's white, good night. Damn. Follow for more.
Out of everything I've ever put on this list, this is the 3rd scariest thing I've ever seen. This is a absolutely massive scuba diver marionette puppet that they submerge in water. Look how tiny it is in comparison to Bro. There's many different versions of them, but this is the biggest one and the most terrifying. And look how absolutely massive it is in comparison to these guys. I'm gonna show you a video at the end of it moving, and the way it moves is so freaking creepy as they dip it into the water. Sickening. Like in the video, its eyes are blinking and it looks extremely real and like an actual huge giant. They walk them through the city of Liverpool and like wave at people. Like this looks like it's out of a post-apocalyptic movie. This is horrifying. They have it on that giant crane. Why do they have to dip it in water though? Like why do they have to make it submechanophobia coded? Like I'm sorry, but this thing is sentient. This thing wants to end this guy. Like look at those eyes. This one has a niece puppet that sits on its lap. Why is that human on there? You could not pay me enough. But yeah, watch this video of it moving and let me know how you feel. And where does this one rank for you in terrifying scale?
Check it out. Imagine a kid seeing that. That's pure nightmare fuel for them, man. I don't know what the heck that thing is. It's like it's a puppeteer, bro. I wonder where's that located at. Seeing that going for a swim, it's gonna mess you up. Like, just imagine you going for a swim and you see that. It's gonna stop your heart.
The craziest things only billionaires can afford to do. So this woman, Michelle, did pool spa and maintenance. And she worked on this huge mansion for 3 years and never saw anybody there. So one day, Michelle gets a call from her boss and he tells her to go to the mansion and put some pool floats away. It was actually Michelle's day off, but she didn't want to disappoint her boss, so she said yes. Michelle shows up to the mansion and the owner's kid is having a pool party. So Michelle walks up to him and says, "Sorry, it must have been a mistake. I was told to come put some pool floats away, but obviously since you're here, I'll just leave." The owner's son says, "Oh no, we're just getting ready to leave, so you can take the pool floats." So literally all Michelle did was grab 5 pool noodles and put them in the pool house. The owner's son thanked her and gave her $300, but that's not even the craziest part. The next day when Michelle shows up to work, her boss gives her $1,000. So Michelle tells her boss that the owner's son already paid her $300. It turns out the son told the owner how great of a job Michelle did. So the owner decided to give Michelle a $700 tip.
You won't believe this heroic animal story. This is a picture of Casper. Casper is a 20-month-old sheepdog who lives on a farm in Georgia. Casper's job is to protect the sheep that live on the farm, and he did just that. Just a few months ago, a pack of coyotes attacked Casper's flock, and being the loyal dog that Casper is, he killed all 8 of the coyotes.
What?
He was badly injured and rushed to the hospital. But luckily, Casper is expected to make a full recovery and is now a local hero. Way to go, Casper.
Hey, Casper a legend, man. Shout out Casper, bro. Doing his job.
Things humans were never meant to see.
Across some footage that was shot in Hawaii. Now, it wasn't recently, it was about 4 years ago, but it definitely caught our attention. The video was shot by a father and a son who had come across a whale that had suffered a brutal attack.
What is that? Look at that. What is that?
Now, the original footage was kind of hard to make out, but after studying it, and the amateur photos taken from the beach, you can clearly see a bite radius in the whale, and the bite radius is striking. From the vantage point of the kid's camera, the whale looks to be almost bitten in half. It's absolutely insane.
Dude.
Local marine biologists analyzed the whale and determined, as crazy as it sounds, that the tail was bitten off in one bite. Now, this is significant because the biting off of a tail is a specific trait of only a few underwater predators, the mako shark being one of them. But there's only one underwater predator that would be able to bite the tail off of a whale this size.
Net sleuths have dug up an old CIA documentary, and Erica Kirk is in it. Check this out.
We have 5 major threats that make our grid extremely vulnerable that we've presented to congressional officials. 1 being cyber, 2 being hackers, 3 being physical threats, 4th one is solar EMP, and the 5th one is man-made.
What does she know about any of this?
So the concern that we have is that we put out this critical information, and when we go over this risk analysis, they hear what we're saying, but they don't want to take action.
Okay, so apparently this clip is from a documentary called Black Start USA, and Erica Kirk, née Francevit, appears as a presenter or briefer on a topic of electromagnetic pulse, EMP threats, and vulnerabilities in the U.S. power grid. She is shown briefing or addressing a group of national security professionals, experts, and figures, including former CIA Director James Woolsey. The footage depicts her delivering information about potential EMP attacks which could originate from high-altitude detonations or other means, and the risk of the coordinated physical attacks that could lead to widespread blackouts or grid failure. This is framed in the context of discussing BLAST protocols, the untested procedures for starting the power grid after a major disruption.
Today we're going to talk about those mythical creatures, the unicorns. Where were they? You tell me. But I'm going to deep dive into these unicorns and all the drawings I find. I dive into old maps of books and mysteries, and I find these unicorns very, very interesting. And look at all the crazy drawings they have of unicorns showing back in the day.
Y'all spotting them out?
A lot of biblical ones showing the unicorn. Really, really interesting. So do you think unicorns used to exist? I found some old maps showing some unicorns. Look at that, they're actually trying to, oh, that's horrible. Check it out, so cool. find it very, very interesting, but I see a lot of these depictions where aren't so nice to unicorns. Like this. What the heck is going on here?
So like
why?
Sacrificing it.
Anybody comment? Let me know. I don't know. I'm going to research more. I've seen a few videos, but oh wow, look at the size of that unicorn with that elephant. Interesting. I just think these are really, really interesting to see, especially some of these old drawings here. She's trying to protect the unicorn, while the dude's being a real a-hole. Interesting.
Extinction.
Anyways, comment, let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think about unicorns? And thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for being a part of this. And thank you for the support. I really appreciate you. And until next time.
From the word moon. The moon has a 28-day moon cycle. 365 divided by 28 is 13. 13 lunar cycles every year, which means our calendar has a missing month, which means we don't know what year we're actually in. This is gonna blow your mind. The sky is a clock. The sun tells the time of the day. The moon tells the day of the month. The stars tell you the month of the year. The sky above our head is intelligent. Everything on earth is matter. Everything above us is spirit. That's why they're floating. They're not rocks you can land on. The Gregorian calendar was made for slaves. Calendar comes from calends. The first day of the month, the Romans had to pay off their debt. So what does all of this actually mean, and why did they do it? They made this fake calendar to cut off our connection with our celestial intelligence above and keep our mind, body, and spirit out of rhythm with these cycles. We must live in harmony with the cycles above us. You can create abundance in your life with using the moon to your advantage. All of my students know.
So we in the wrong month, bro? In the wrong year? He said there was 13 months in the year, bro. So he's saying there's one missing off the calendar. 13 phases of the moon. Why they cut out the extra month, seekers? Deep rabbit hole.
Oh. So you're telling me that this whole time we were not supposed to be having mirrors in our room? And if we do, we're inviting unwanted energy into our environmental field? And that mirrors aren't just reflections, but amplifiers? You motherfuckers. Not only is mirror placement bad, but window placement too? Oh wow. So a mirror facing the main door is said to push incoming positive energy, wealth, and opportunity back out the door. In which, according to feng shui, these are the proper ways to have a mirror in your room, and the proper way to position your bed while having a healthy sleep. Who was going to tell us? Huh?
It is criminal that Mr. Beast doesn't know what these two guys are doing right now. They are only one day away from saying Mr. Beast 3 million times. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast. They're currently at 2,961,555. What the f***? For perspective, the video where Mr. Beast said Logan Paul 100,000 times took him about 17 hours and 6 minutes. These guys have been streaming since July. I'm not even kidding. They are on their 78th day of doing this. Mood, which is emotion. The moon crescent on top of the head symbolizes emotion ruling over our mind, our body, our life. Devil is red because the red is the lowest vibrational color. And this is you when you are operating your life in your animal nature. The devil is the ground animal, the lower self. The bird is the angel, which is the higher self. When we see the man standing on the moon, this represents conquering the emotion, and they no longer govern your life. Your emotions change all the time, and this is symbolized as the moon phases. Money rules your emotions, and this is why money has moon within it. A demon is actually your emotions. Lucifer fell from heaven to earth. Lucifer means star. The 5-pointed star is your 5 senses. When your 5 senses rule over your life, this is when you are becoming Lucifer, Satan, or the devil, which is the inverted pentagram. This is spirit on the top. The inverted one is spirit on the bottom, because your spirit is no longer controlling your body. It's being ruled by the lower mind, by
the five senses, and your emotions. God and the devil exist within yourself. It's a battle between your higher mind and lower mind, between the five senses and your mind, your consciousness. Religion has externalized the truth, so they keep you in your animal nature. Stop worshipping God, become the God self, because we are all God in flesh.
You haven't always loved the internet. How are you seeing progress right now with all of that? Can you use it to your advantage?
It's a double-edged sword. You know, a lot of artists aren't getting paid full scale for their art, and the internet, because of downloading and things like that, is kind of like a black hole. And it's hard to audit, it's hard to get accounting, and it's not that it's just about the money, but it's about justice and fairness. And when people say that they love you and they respect you, but at the same time take, 80% of your earnings, then expect you to fix your own communities, and they'll probably edit all of this out. But that's the sharp part of the sword, and we're at the wrong end of it right now. So eventually, with courageous people going out there and actually saying something and standing up for it, I think we'll get some balance.
Good Elon.
Some French news. You saw streaming coming a mile away, man. It's crazy, bro. How some people, man, they can see it's already happening, bro. Oh, they can predict what's happening before it even happened, man. I guess that's how those music companies be taking a big cut of artists, bro. Just take their online cut, man. Because like I said, they don't have to audit. There's not something you can check and be like, oh, I made this much money by the streams and stuff like that. That's where the bot and stuff comes into play.
Be the false prophet that you and I read about in the book of Revelation? And is it a possibility that we are watching the beast system get set up in real time? I'm going to start by playing a couple clips from the testimony of Elon's childhood babysitter. She actually lived across the street from Elon, and her mother was deep in the occult, and so she became kind of a slave in that system. Her mother was good friends with Elon's mother, who is a well-known Satanist. Now, I had actually never seen this clip in its entirety until this morning. And now that I have watched it in full, listened to what she said happened, and listened to what she was actually told about Elon, it is my personal opinion that Elon is the false prophet, and we are watching the beast system get set up right in front of our eyes.
I was babysitting him, and they had a lot of ancient artifacts and stuff. He didn't have any normal toys, and he would set him up in a certain way, like a little Stonehenge on his bed, and his room was dark. It's always dark in here. And you set them up in a certain way, and you know when a little kid's sneaking and you still see that they're sneaking and they're trying to be sneaky and you think it's cute. You know what I mean? They're trying to hide something, but you know they're sneaky. It's kind of being like that happy, but it was wicked. And he said, call me Moon. I said, Moon, come play with my friends. He's so excited. It like peeked in the door. It was wrong in there, and it was like there was something happening. I don't know the language to describe it, but like.
And how old do you think? How old would he be at this point in time?
By the record, he would be 7 or 8, and he was jumping up and down. And
so he was able to open up a Stargate in his room.
God, I truly think the end is near, and I'm not trying to scare nobody. I truly think AI is the end of it all, fool. The shit this man did with the AI. It's crazy as fuck. This man, real live, face swap with every character from Stranger Things. And if he didn't show that he was doing this, you would have thought that was really them. That's how crazy this shit look. Dog, look at this video. Look at this shit. This shit look real as fuck. AI is only getting better day by day, y'all. Day by day. People always think shit is all fun and games. Ha ha he he ha ha. It's gonna be all fun and games until you see yourself on a motherfucking news being wanted for something crazy. And then in your mind you know that you was in the house the whole time this shit went down. But hey, it's your word against everybody that seen you on the news doing the shit. I don't know about y'all, but I'm afraid of this shit.
The eyes, like, I'm afraid of AI seekers, man. That video he showed me, bro. Definitely sent chills down my spine, bro. Like I said, man, you could get blamed for something, bro. Somebody put your face, just use your face, like, hey, just put them on an AI filter, man. You at the house, you ain't do nothing wrong, but bro, AI's getting so weird to the point where you can't even tell that look so real. Like you said, if the guy didn't show that he was using AI, I would have believed that it was real, man. We gotta slow down with this AI, bro. You have to. I say it all the time, man, but now that just reaffirms my point.
Obsolete when that pineal gland is concrete. So Bill Gates sent a warning out saying that it could get rough over the next 5 years. Oh yeah, Mr. Gates? Mr. Shapeshifter himself? Is that a threat? You see, because I don't take those lightly, and I know for a fact my father doesn't take those lightly. And you know him. You know that light, bright, and might shining in the sky? The All-Father, the Son, the one that you constantly try to block out? Yeah, ain't no more blocking. Ain't no stopping. That door, you gonna hear some knocking. 'Cause your time is up. You reptilian? Yeah, that's right, I said it. You done sold out humanity for monopoly money. I hope it was worth it.
Okay. It's the Queen. What the hell? Discoloration. Oh no. What is this? What's the king doing? Little bro was scared. Okay, why that horse spazzing out? Kids can just be acting up. I don't know.
Did the NBA get exposed on live TV for being fake?
The Rudy Gobert thing. What about it? What did you think about it? What did he do? He did that money thing. Oh, and got fired. Oh, you got to fire. What? Because you're basically insinuating that refs are getting paid. Yeah. Oh, my bad, Shaq. I didn't mean to bring up a whole. You're not agreeing with that? No, but you're insinuating the refs are getting paid at the game. I thought this shit got suspended. Oh, stop it. Hey, stop it. You're going too far now. No. Too far. Stop it. Shaq, let me tell you something. The one thing we can never do in sports, ever, is make people think that the game is not fixed. And we can if we ever get to the point, any sport, if they found out, it will ruin the sport. If they found out, it will ruin the sport.
If they find out it was rigged, but it has to be sometimes, man. We see that. Well, actually, we've seen it happen, man. What happened with the with the situation happened with the NBA and all that, man, with betting, bro. Like these live betting apps, man. I guess people, betting on the spreads and stuff like that. I think it definitely can be manipulated. The markets, for some people on top to get the money. So, but I don't know, man. Tell me down below, man. What other freaking sports do you think is rigged besides the NBA, NFL? Allegedly, bro. That's gonna be a deep rabbit hole.
But just think nothing of it. But if you take a second look, it looks like the shape of a human head, neck and shoulders.
That dude. I never put two and two together.
Now, we've all seen some type of photo where rock formations or mountains have the face or structures of what it looks like to be like a female laying down on her side with her leg propped up. That's what it looks like. That's not no random coincidence. The giants and titans have roamed this earth has been written in many, many old and ancient texts. Here's a formation in Peru that looks like a human laying on their side. You can't tell me it doesn't. Here's another example. That last video you saw, that area where you can drive your boat is now banned and off limits to people. Funny, right? Well, here's that mountain in Maui, Hawaii. There's the part that was on fire. But when you look at the island from the top down, it looks like a head, neck, into the shoulders.
Why does my search bar say leave America now? Why is that? I went to search something up, and you know where it says you may like? The first thing that shows up is leave America now. Who would like such a thing? Should I go? Should I go? Let me know, because I'm ready to go regardless, bro. Straight up, because if I can avoid something from happening here, then listen, I'm going to do what that search bar says. Did we not get the memo? Did we not get the memo? Why is my search bar saying that while I'm home relaxing? Now I'm not relaxed. Now I'm not relaxed, guys. Go check your search bar, see if it says that. Leave America now. Man, I've been wanting to leave for a while now, actually. So is this confirmation? Is this confirmation that I should get up out of here? Because you see what's going on out here, guys. That's what it says. Like I said, guys, entertainment purposes only. That's what my search bar says. I'm not saying that anything is happening right now. But it just says, leave America now. So I'm thinking, should I leave now or tomorrow morning? I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. Go check it out. I'm out.
I need to check my search bar, bro. I ain't seen something that said leave America now, man. I'm about to check right now, bro.
Vitaly has finally been released from prison. After spending the past 9 months in the Philippines prison system, he has finally had his case heard and will be deported to Russia. And this is where it gets more worse. They gave us a reason why. They said, let this be a reminder to all of our visitors here in the Philippines that we are always welcome to tourists and visitors. We treat them with respect and that we expect them to follow the same rules as we follow the same rules when we travel. We have no ill feelings against Vitaly as he has served his time and shown remorse, and he will be a free man once he goes back to Russia. Remember, 9 months ago when he was locked up, everybody was concerned that he was going to be spending 9 years in prison there because the prison system in the Philippines is so much more further backed up because there are so many trials in front of him. His case wouldn't be able to be seen by a judge for 9 years. And even more insaner, this is him after just a month of being in there because he was off his gear and most likely wasn't being fed that much. And after only being locked up for 1 year, he looks like he's like 6 or 7 years more older. The reason why he was even arrested in the first place was because he was bothering so many locals. Should he start making prank videos again?
Hold on, y'all. Pause for a minute. I've been telling you guys that we are in a real-life movie/video game, and this video over here just proved it. So this new technology got unveiled in Las Vegas, of all places, and this technology allows her nails to be changed in real time without even going to a nail salon using AI, I believe. And she puts her thumb in this little box, and this thing does everything for her. Check this out. This is crazy.
You just saw nails that change color.
There's no button. You just
How would I know which color to keep it?
pick the color on the app. So right now it's on this color right here. But if you connect the wand, you can pick any of the palettes that you create.
Can you pick one?
Yeah. So if I sync it like this, now it'll be blue. So it'll start cycling through, and then it'll end on blue.
The hell?
Ladies, do you know how amazing this is? Man, I said new technologies are going to be coming really, really quickly because we are in a fire horse year. But ladies, do you know how amazing this is? You don't need to go to salons anymore to get your energy siphoned anymore. And that's a video for a whole nother day, and I promise you guys I'm going to make that video. But what do you guys think of this, y'all? This is crazy. Just like I be telling y'all, our life is a movie. I guarantee you we're going to see some amazing things, some new technology developing this year. Let me know what you guys think about this video, y'all. Let's get it. Peace in.
And then it'll end on blue.
The only way to escape quicksand. If you ever somehow find yourself trapped in quicksand, don't panic. Despite what you've seen in films, you're not going to get sucked under. The truth is, quicksand is denser than us, so you'll float more than you'll sink. Basically, the air in your lungs will keep your upper body above the quicksand, while your legs might get stuck. Now here's what you need to do to get out. Start with one leg and move it around a bit like you're stirring a big pot of soup. Doing this lets water seep down and break up the thick sand, making it easier to pull your leg out. Once you've got one leg out, bend forward onto the free knee. This helps spread your weight around and prevents you from sinking right back in. Now do the same stir the pot motion with your other leg. Pull it out, and there you go. You just got yourself out of quicksand.
3 ways to survive a zombie apocalypse. Number 1, get as far away from the cities as possible, being that there's going to be a ton of people around and not many corners to turn to. When being in most cities, you have high buildings. You don't want to get trapped on the roof of one of them and having to fight your way all the way down. I would suggest going towards the countryside. Number 2, make sure you have non-perishable foods. Things that are in cans. Things that can last long periods of time. Things like beans and canned chicken. Also, any kind of bottled or canned beverage will do. Preferably something that's refillable. Number 3, make sure you have a weapon that you're very comfortable with when going throughout this apocalypse. Something that doesn't make too much noise but deals a ton of damage, like a barbed wire baseball bat or a sledgehammer. Don't forget to like and follow if you want me to continue this series.
Got that from Negan, that barbed wire baseball bat.
This is the only way to survive a tsunami. So if you start to see sea levels on the shore rising, take this as a sign of a tidal wave and move further inland. Ideally, as far back as possible, so run immediately. Now, it might be tempting to run for a car, but given that traffic will likely form as a result of the chaos, that will probably be pointless. So in order to move more freely, you should continue to walk. Also, keep an eye out for stampedes and large crowds of people to avoid being crushed. When the water starts to flood the area around you and reaches you, you're in the danger zone of a tsunami, and something much worse is yet to come. So instead of continuing to run inland, you should try to get as high as possible on a solid building. In order to climb up there, try looking for a ladder, because by this time the power has most likely been cut off. The only thing left to do is to wait to see if you reached a sufficient height. And at this point, well done, you made it.
Okay, we got some tips on how to survive the zombie apocalypse, tsunami, how to get out of quicksand. We learn the things that they secrets. Tap in with us.
This story truly infuriates me. This woman was forced to marry this man, and only a few weeks later, she was found murdered. This is about 20-year-old Rukia Hadari, who moved from Afghanistan to Australia with her family at a very young age. In 2019, Rukia was forced by her mother to marry 25-year-old Muhammad Ali only 2 weeks after her mom introduced them. Leading up to the wedding day in November, Rukia was going around telling her friends, teachers, and counselors that she did not want to go through with the wedding, but had no choice because her mom told her that she had to do it. Before their wedding day, Rukia and Muhammad had only seen each other a few times, and during the ceremony, it's clear that she does not look happy or excited at all. After their ceremony, Rukia moved across the country to live with Muhammad, leaving her friends and family behind, and things quickly took a turn. Only 6 weeks after their wedding, Rukia's life was savagely taken by Muhammad after he got upset that she was not cooking or cleaning for him. He even took this video moments before he took her life and sent it to her family to try to embarrass her. Muhammad slit her throat with a kitchen knife, and then he called her brother to let him know what he did, and then he turned himself in. But here's the twist. Not only was Muhammad charged with murder and sentenced to life in prison, Rukia's mother was also found guilty and was the first person in Australia to be convicted of causing a person to enter into a forced marriage.
This teenager killed.
Yeah, that's an insane story, man. Like, a forced marriage where they had the door didn't have no say. Like, she just forced to marry a stranger. Can't even imagine that. What has this world come to?
With his mom over a bad grade. This is 15-year-old Gregory Ramos. And on November 2nd, 2018, Gregory Ramos got into a fight with his mother, Gail Clevenger. The fight started over his bad school grades, which resulted in him strangling his own mother to death. Gregory then proceeded to call two of his friends to help him bury her body and stage a robbery at his house. Gregory buried her body under a church fire pit and was sentenced to 45 years in prison. Now, what I'm about to show you is Gregory explaining exactly how he committed the murder, and it's absolutely disturbing, because keep in mind, this was his own mother.
Whatever. Alright, I'll tell you what happened. Alright, so I got home, I got an argument with my mom, she slapped me across the face, she began to hit me, she started beating me, I didn't like it, so I strangled her to death. Alright? I put her in a wheelbarrow, I put her in my car, I took the car, I had a breakdown where I almost committed suicide 3 times. I drove around Daytona, I dropped the wheelbarrow in some random ass location, and I drove back to the church, I began to dig a hole. I dig a hole right under the fucking fire pit. I dug a pretty deep hole, pretty deep, deep enough to put a bit about it in, alright? All this time my mom was decomposing body, I dragged it from my car to the fire pit. In which case, I tried to cut the wedding ring off her finger because I wanted to pawn it, but I couldn't because I didn't have a knife strong enough to cut bones. Oh, well, whatever. Anyways, so I dug that hole, threw her body in there, filled back in, made it look all nice and natural, dumped my clothes, and then I went home.
The easiest horror movies to survive. Number 1, Candyman. All you have to do is not say his name 3 times and you will survive. It might genuinely be one of the easiest movies you could survive as long as you're not dumb. Number 2, The Ring. They tell you, hey, don't watch this tape or you'll get cursed. And then you watch the tape and wonder why you're unalive. Just don't watch the tape and you'll be perfectly fine. Number 3, Chucky. Chucky is a doll. Remember that. Chucky's a doll. Yes, very smart, the intellect of a man that pretty much inhabited the doll when he was unalive. But nonetheless, it's a doll. I'm punting Chucky across the room. I'm sorry. Number 4, Pennywise. Now, me being a kid or me being an adult, I'm going nowhere near a storm drain. There's no way I'm going to the storm drain and having a conversation with someone dressed like a clown. It's just not gonna work for me. It's just not something I'm gonna do. The first 1,000 of you to click the link in my bio and subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Could you survive those movies, man? Just follow simple logic. It's really easy. Especially about this part about Chucky, man. He's a doll, but you can just chuck him across the roof.
How to survive a brain-eating amoeba. This deadly creature wants to live in warm, fresh water all over the world. Step 1, hold your nose. Strangely enough, they can't infect you through your mouth, so just make sure you're wearing a nose clip when you're swimming in fresh water. And yes, that includes sketchy swimming pools. People have been infected from sketchy swimming pools.
Ooh.
Step 2, don't touch the bottom. Naegleria fowleri, its official name, likes to live in the sediment on the bottom of fresh water sources. So by disturbing this dirt and kicking it up, you're putting yourself at higher risk. Step 3, if you're experiencing things like nausea and headache after swimming in fresh water, make sure you see a doctor as soon as possible. Only 7 people have survived this brain-eating organism, and all of them required intense medical care. If you want to avoid these guys altogether, maybe just stick to swimming in salt water. Try the Bahamas. Hashtag not sponsored. And that's...
Okay.
Here are 3 ways you can survive an encounter with the Slenderman.
Talk about it.
According to legend, the Slenderman is a malicious entity with supernatural abilities, known for stalking and tormenting its human victims, seemingly without cause. The first rule you'll need to follow if you suspect that the Slenderman is nearby is to always carry a camera or cellular device with photographic capabilities with you at all times. The Slenderman can only be viewed by children or through the lens of a camera, so this will allow you to know its location, erasing any chance of a surprise attack. Secondly, you'll want to keep an eye out for warnings posted by the Slenderman's previous victims. If you ever see any, run. Finally, if you're being chased by the Slenderman, try to avoid running on foot. The Slenderman is exceptionally fast, can teleport, and has arms that can extend more than 10 feet, so it's much safer to flee in a vehicle or take cover inside. Tag a friend if you're watching this alone, and follow for more.
Okay.
This perverted woman snuck into morgue and essayed over 40 corpses. This is a disturbing case of Karen Greenlee, a necrophile who described herself as a morgue rat. So Karen actually worked as an apprentice embalmer in Sacramento, California. On December the 17th, 1979, she stole the body of a 33-year-old man. Her intentions were to essay the corpse. Now, on this occasion, occasion, someone actually saw her steal the body, and therefore police were able to easily track her down. And when they found her, she was trying to unalive herself. Authorities took her to the hospital, her stomach was pumped, and her life was saved. Since she was trying to unalive herself, she had written a chilling goodbye letter. In that letter, she confessed to having slept with the corpses of over 40 men. She said that the smell of death turned her on, and she admitted it was some sort of addiction. Lucky for Karen, at the time she was arrested, necrophilia was not illegal, and so she only spent 11 days in prison, and that was for trying to steal a dead body. Since then, Karen has changed her name and moved to another city. And let's just hope she keeps that addiction. I'm Harvs, and if you want to hear more stories about real life people, hit the plus.
Who wins in a fight? Winnie?
That is one of the most strangest and weirdest addictions I've ever heard in my life. She was probably the one who made that law go into effect, man. She only spent 11 days in jail. Come on, bro. These clips, man, that we be watching, be breaking our reality, bro.
Winnie the Pooh from Winnie the Pooh, Blood Honey 2, or Art the Clown. Starting with Winnie the Pooh. If you guys have seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood Honey 2, you guys know Winnie the Pooh was standing on all kinds of business. Not only having super strength using multiple different weapons, but also having a ton of mobility and having health regeneration. If you guys have seen the movie, at the end of the movie, he is supposed to be unalived. And it cuts to a cutscene of where all of the characters except Piglet are still alive, meaning that Winnie the Pooh is more or less immortal, making this a little bit of a tougher task for Art the Clown. Now, hopping over to Art the Clown, as we know, he's a jokester. He enjoys unaliving. That's one of his favorite things. And you can tell by the movies that he genuinely enjoys it. But him not taking it seriously may be his downfall. Now, yes, I know he has a bag of tricks. He's extremely fast. He's extremely sly. And yes, he is also immortal, with the little clown girl who's able to more or less rebirth him, which we saw at the end of Terrifier 2. Of course, leading up to Terrifier 3 releasing later this year. So all in all, if it was a death match, Art the Clown versus Winnie the Pooh from Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, who do I think is going to win? If we're basing off of sheer strength, I'm going with Winnie the Pooh. All in all, I'm putting all of my chips on Winnie the Pooh. Now, I love Art the Clown, but all in all, I think Winnie the Pooh is packing him up. Like and follow for more, and comment down below who I should do next.
This woman was caught putting Roundup in her husband's Mountain Dew. This man from Missouri went to police after his home surveillance camera caught his wife, 47-year-old Michelle Peters, pouring Roundup, which is a chemical weed killer, into his favorite drink. He became a little suspicious in the beginning of May when he noticed that his Mountain Dew was tasting a little off. At first, he ignored the strange taste and continued to drink it, but a couple of weeks later, he began vomiting and having a sore throat. Then on June 12th, he reviewed surveillance footage in his garage where he kept his Mountain Dew in a fridge, and it shows his wife pouring the Roundup straight into the Mountain Dew bottle. Around that same time, he had told her that he was feeling sick, and all she said was that he probably had COVID and to stay away from the grandkids. Eventually, he went to police and Michelle was arrested, and at first her defense was that she mixed the Mountain Dew with the Roundup because she wanted to create this strong weed killer, and she had seen this on Pinterest. But eventually, she admitted to everything, and she said she did it because she was mad at her husband for being unappreciative after she threw him a 50th birthday party. She then expressed that she regretted it and she should have just divorced him. She was charged with first-degree domestic assault and armed criminal action.
How sleep paralysis looks like.
It's like a damn demon. Oh crap. Oh man, what the fuck? What the hell is that?
This is why you should never leave your children alone in Disneyland. Allegedly, this 4-year-old girl named Lee went missing in Disneyland in Anaheim, California on October 12th. Lee was visiting the park with her family. They were having a great time, so they decided to get something to eat together. And that's when Lee realized that she really needed to go use the restroom.
Surprisingly, the mother let 4-year-old Lee go to the restroom by herself because, after all, it is Disneyland. It's safe, right?
No, it ain't.
Time started to pass by, and Lee was taking longer than usual, so the mother went to the restroom to see what was going on. When the mom entered the restroom, she saw the most unbelievable thing ever. The mother witnessed a man taking Lee to an underground tunnel, and when she tried to go grab Lee, the door completely closed and she was unable to catch her. Allegedly, the mother ran out of the bathroom crying for help and contacting the authorities. Authorities and employees of Disneyland completely checked the bathroom and they could not find anything, and they just made it seem like she was crazy and making up the whole thing. Lee's father told Disney management that they should break down the floor of the bathroom to prove that there's not a tunnel, and they told him no. Disneyland management had told authorities that these parents had lost their mind and were completely making this up. The parents also wanted to see a video surveillance of when Lee was walking to the bathroom, but apparently it wasn't working that day.
What?
There's also one instance of where a mother is in the bathroom stall and she sees a hole going through the wall, and it looked like there was an underground tunnel where they could see them. In 2006, 35 Disney employees ended up getting arrested for crimes against children, so this story does not seem too far-fetched, but I guess we will really never know.
What is the biggest difference?
What do you guys think, man? Some of these clips we've been hearing, like stories about Disneyland, but like news like that always stays out the major, like I guess news circuits or something like that, because Disney is ties or something like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they really had an underground like tunnel or something over there. They had the resources.
Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, in the New Age slasher Art the Clown. It's this one thing. Gen slashers always hold true to this because they're not threats. But will Art the Clown see it that way? I don't know, because from what I've been told, the first couple minutes of Terrifier 3 are said to be some of the most disgusting, disturbing, and shocking things we've ever seen. And that's saying a lot, because Terrifier 2 was absolutely insane, especially the bedrooms. People were literally running out of the theaters and throwing up when they first saw Terrifier 2. And if the first couple minutes of Terrifier 3 are said to be some of the most shocking and disturbing things we've seen from Art, what does that mean for this little person? But what's going to happen? Because from the countless set photos we've seen, Art the Clown is dressed up as Santa Claus and going to the mall. Meaning he's going to have a ton of people around him sitting on his lap and telling him what he wants for Christmas. Now, we already know what Art the Clown wants for Christmas. He wants to decorate with people. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions and tagged in this video. Do I think Art the Clown is genuinely going to pack this kid up? I don't know. I don't think Damien Leone is going to go that far, but if it's been said that this movie is going to be 10 times shocking, especially the first 5 minutes, and we've already seen the 2-minute clip where Buddy's going crazy downstairs, I really don't know if I would put it past Art the Clown for him to do this. I just kind of hope not.
Skinwalker disguising as human.
Okay, let's see it. Weird as hell.
What you're about to see is intense. I got too far to go! I got too far to go! What you just saw is the United States Coast Guard raiding a high-speed submarine in the Eastern Pacific Ocean moving more than 17,000 pounds of cocaine.
Oh, what the?
On June 18th, 2019, a Coast Guard surveillance aircraft tracked and intercepted the drug-filled narco sub hundreds of miles off the Colombian-Ecuadorian coastline. The video shows a member of the Coast Guard riding on top of the speeding submarine. He then starts pounding on the hatch and demanding it to come to a stop. 3 other Coast Guard members then jump ship and board the 40-foot-long submarine. The video then continues, and you see the presumed trafficker emerging from the submarine hatch with his hands up, surrendering. And in total, 5 alleged
of smugglers were seized on board the vessel and were handed over for prosecution by the United States Drug Enforcement Administration.
Are these your friends, the police?
Now, just watch the full encounter unfold. It's honestly something straight out of a video game.
What's he saying?
That's gonna be hard to get on.
Oh, he did just jumped.
Long enough to have that justice served.
This mom slept with her
Crazy.
son to make sure that he liked girls. Barbara Baekeland was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and because of her beauty, she became a model. She began to model for Vogue and was thrown into the Hollywood life. While Barbara was auditioning for roles, she got introduced to Brooks Baekeland, and they ended up sleeping together, and she thought the only way that she could secure his heart was by lying to him and saying that she was pregnant with his baby. The two ended up getting quickly married, and Barbara was working as a professional painter and Brooks was working as a writer. The both ended up seeing other people outside of their marriage, and for the first time, Barbara was actually pregnant, and she ended up having a son in 1946, and his name is Anthony, but they weren't sure if this was actually from her husband or from another person. The two ended up getting divorced after Brooks met a girl 15 years younger than Barbara, which pushed her over the edge. In 1967, Anthony was about 20 years old, and while he was in Switzerland, he met a man named Jake Cooper, and they started a relationship together. Barbara was not very supportive of her son's relationship choices, so she decided that she was going to fix him. That is when she decided to hire girls to sleep with her son. Obviously, this did not fix anything, so Barbara decided that she was going to sleep with her son, and hopefully this was going to change him. Anthony despised his mom and was thinking of ways he could end her life. On November 17th of 1972, Anthony had stabbed his mom with a kitchen knife, and she died almost immediately. Once police arrived at the scene, he confessed to everything, and he was actually released after 7 years. Once Anthony was released, he went to go live with his grandmother, and 6 days after he was released, he ended up stabbing her 8 times and breaking a lot of her bones, but thankfully she did survive. There is a movie called Savage Grace, and it's actually based on this whole case.
There's some crazy things happening in the world right now. An asteroid earlier this month passed over Antarctica just 100 miles above it. Nobody on Earth realized that this happened until after it happened. That's terrifying. A Catholic university in Australia was caught using AI to wrongly accuse students of cheating with AI. This resulted in some students not receiving graduate positions because it took over 6 months to clear their accusations. A flight in Europe was diverted after 2 passengers were arrested. One of them was eating pages of their own passport, and the other flushed his down a toilet. Americans are using PTO to sleep, not for vacation, a new report just came out. SpaceX built an escape system that could save astronauts in seconds. It's basically a giant slide that accelerates the astronaut up to 400 miles per hour to get into safety. That's actually kind of cool, honestly. The Breaking Bad star Raymond Cruz was arrested after spraying his neighbor's child with a garden hose while washing his car.
I wonder why we're in debt. It might be because the elite have a $21 trillion underground city.
Hey man, you want to watch this show called Paradise? You know that show's a documentary, right? What you talking about, Willis? They've been building bunkers all over the world for the last few decades.
It's just now coming out.
I mean, if you think about it, that's kind of a good idea. We need to save humanity if something catastrophic were to happen. You and I are peasants. We're not getting in there. That's only for the rich. In fact, it is your money that built those bunkers for them. Wait a minute. They get to poison our food, destroy our world, then hide out in underground bunkers that were built with our tax dollars while we just suffer here on the surface? Yeah, not only did they build them at our expense, but they fully equipped and fully supplied them, again, with your money. You know those ridiculous prices that you're paying for everything, guess where that's going? No wonder we're $36 trillion in debt. Well, according to Catherine Austin Fitz, a former Bush administration official, $21 trillion went into building the infrastructure for those bunkers. Wait a second. And let's not forget all the gold that went missing from the Twin Towers and the Pentagon. Now it's all making sense.
This is like something out of The Purge, like a horror movie. This family in Alexandria, Virginia had these three guys at their door trying to get into their house and screaming to let them in. Let me play the video for you guys because this is just creepy. Check it out.
What the? Oh, they crazy. Hell no. It's still fine.
I'm convinced that, these were either just teenagers or something like that playing a prank, or they were actually trying to get in. Maybe a mix of both. Regardless, though, that doesn't give you the, permission to just threaten somebody and try to break into their house late at night like that. I can hear them, laughing in the background at the end of the video. I'm sure they thought that was hilarious. Regardless, if this happened to any of us at night, I think we'd all be, a little scared. Three random people at the door, screaming, banging on the door.
The daily crazy sky recordings just keep on coming. This time, Volusia County. A resident captured an object doing corkscrews in the sky at 7 a.m., while another object can be seen falling next to it. If you haven't seen the video, take a look at it. Take a look at that right there. And what is that right there? As that's falling, that's doing corkscrew movements in the skies over Volusia County, Florida. This all took place, like I said, at 7 a.m. in the morning. If you live in Florida, Volusia County, can you explain to me what the heck is going on in Florida? I freeze-framed it and tried to blow it up as best as I could. That's the object that was falling, and that's the object that was corkscrewing. What does that object look like to you? Does that seem like a fireball or meteorite doing corkscrews? Or do you think it's something we should be concerned about? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
Here's some movie theories that may actually be true. Part 3. In The Incredibles, we know that the Omnidroids are built to fight and kill specific heroes. The first Omnidroid Mr. Incredible fights is defeated pretty quickly, but this theory states that it wasn't meant for him. This Omnidroid was actually targeting Frozone. This would explain why it's lava-proof, since it's later revealed that Frozone can't use his powers in hot places. The Omnidroid also has a blue light, hinting that it was intended for Frozone. And when Mirage spies on the two heroes, she's actually spying on Frozone, saying that the fat guy is still with him. We even see later in the movie another Omnidrome that is much bigger, much stronger, and even has a red light for the Incredibles. Had Frozone shown up instead of Mr. Incredible, the Omnidroid would have most likely added him to the list of dead heroes.
Damn, okay.
In Elkhorn, Wisconsin, this community was terrorized by the beast of the upright walking king. In 1936, one of the stories that came out was there was a guy who was working in a cemetery, and he was on the midnight shift. He goes out and he sees this dog digging up a grave. What's really weird is when it stands up on its hind legs. And he said it just stood there, looked at him, and then went into the woods. And so he finished his night, came back the next night, and again, this dog is back digging up a grave, and he sees this thing. It stands up on its hind legs, and this time it spoke to him. It's in the tombs, where Doug Van Dorn says the offspring of the Nephilim are buried. Why is there in Wisconsin a dogman entity digging up graves, saying Gadara, which is Mark 5, the demoniac man that has legion, and they're all dwelling among these tombs. It's almost like he's trying to find the tomb
where we were getting closer and closer to the time period where humans will sleep with robots. And no, I'm not joking.
You guys see that the creator of ChatGPT, Sam Altman, has just made another version of ChatGPT, and it's called ChatGPT Erotica, where adults 18 or older will be able to talk to an AI sexually. With the complete depravity, the total depravity of humans on the earth, we know that this is going to be a huge thing. I truly believe that we will walk into a time period within the next 10 years, maybe 15, where humans will be in complete relationship with robots, with AI, whether it's on your computer, whether it's on your phone, or whether it's a physical robot machine in your house. We do know that they have the ability to create them with like silicone to where they can feel like a human body slightly, but also still be a robot. I just believe humanity is taking Sodom and Gomorrah to a whole new level. They're making Sodom and Gomorrah look like a normal nation with this. You download ChatGPT Erotica, then I just don't have no words. Yikes. Yikes.
We just witnessed the heist of the decade. Yesterday, a group of thieves broke into the Louvre in Paris and successfully made it out with 9 items potentially worth hundreds of millions. It's being called a national disaster because the items that they made it out with are historic pieces of jewelry, hundreds of years old, and used to belong to kings, queens, and royalty. One of the pieces belonged to Napoleon III's wife and contained over 2,400 diamonds. The 9th item that was stolen was this crown, but it was recovered broken at the scene. But what's even crazier is how these guys pulled it off. I mean, for starters, it was literally daylight robbery because they decided to go in around 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. They wore high-vis vests pretending to be construction workers. They pulled up in this van with a mechanical lift. They descended to the balcony of the 2nd floor where they got through the windows using disc cutters. Once inside, they also cut through the display cases. They grabbed the items, descended down the basket lift again. They tried but failed to set fire to the van. Then got on 2 motorbikes, fled the scene, and were never seen since. Bro, they were in and out in 4 minutes. In fact, the entire thing lasted 7. Art detective Arthur Brand said that the heist was the theft of the decade and warned that police have about a week to catch them, and if not, the loot will probably be gone and dismantled.
How did they pull that off, bro? Within 4 minutes, man? Just because it was some vest? Some freaking yellow Leon vest, bro. In and out 4 minutes. That is the heist of the decade, bro. That's actually insane when you think about it, man. Hundreds of millions, bro, in jewels and crowns. Crazy.
Y'all seen a video where the girl says, if you're seeing this video, you're in group 7. Mind you, ever since I've seen that video, I have been seeing nothing but group 7s. I'm in group 7. Mind you, this woman did other videos, other groups. I had to go on her page to see other videos about other groups because the algorithm didn't show me those groups. The algorithm showed me that I'm in group 7. And group 7 is deep. When I say there is so many videos of people saying that I'm in group 7, it's crazy. It's insane. Now, mind you, this is a testament to how this algorithm works. So I jump down that rabbit hole and I go group for group to see what's going on in the other groups. Mind you, group 7 is a bunch of comedians, but it's deeper than that. And the reason I say it's deeper than that because I am a life path 7. The shit is scary. I also see that group 7 are truth seekers. Most of the people in group 7 have a big social media presence. This shit is crazy. But how does the algorithm know that shit? Give me a couple of days, I'm gonna wait till this thing right there starts dwindling down, and I'm gonna do another experiment. Pay attention though, this is showing you how this algorithm works. This algorithm is watching you. It knows everything you do. It knows exactly who you are. And this is evidence right here. I'm out.
Yeah, y'all, I believe the end of the world is finna happen soon. Why did the new pope just get gifted a pale white horse, y'all? Look at the video. Can't make this up. Pale white horse, y'all. Y'all keep thinking shit is a game. Shit is moving very, very quickly. I just advise everybody to prepare. Stay prepared, y'all. Because 2026 is about to be the most craziest year we ever had. Y'all don't believe me? Make sure you follow. I'm gonna get y'all through this shit.
Animals that are bigger than you think. Let's go. First up, we got the baby ocean sunfish. Yes, it looks small and cute now, but imagine putting this in your fish tank, and then this happens. I'm realising, oh damn, I need to get a bigger fish tank. Next up, you've got the bullfrog. There's no messing about with this geezer. You can put a leash on it and walk it like your own dog. And last up, you've got the bison. This 3,000 pound piece of meat has got a head as big as the geezer, putting an ear tag on him.
There's this video, security camera footage of a security guard at a hospital by himself. This is at nighttime already, right? And he saw these two kids. They're sitting at the waiting area, right? He's like, oh, they look cute. He's gonna go on his break and he's gonna grab food. He came back with balloons for the kids. And I'm gonna show you the footage of what happens to the kids. He brings the balloons to them. You see the kids, right?
Wait, what do you mean you see the kids?
There was no kids at all. There's not kids at all. And you can see the balloons following him.
Yeah.
He sees the kids bringing the balloons to him and he's talking to them. He's seeing spirits.
Oh,
He's seeing children with the balloons and walking back with him. And he was talking to them as if they're there still.
Oh my, that's insane. It'll make sense in a hospital.
And then the theory was the kids know that they're spirits, but they wanted balloons so they can prove that they're still there.
Yo, I know so many haunted videos that include a balloon.
Because they're trying to show that they're moving, right? They can hold on to something. And that's something they can manipulate very easily. It would take less force.
China just unveiled a weapon that fits in the palm of your hand, can recognize your face, and will hunt you down autonomously. And they're already mass producing it. This thing is the size of a water bottle. It weighs as much as a grenade. But here's what makes it absolutely terrifying. It has onboard AI that can identify human targets in real time, track multiple people simultaneously, and make kill decisions completely on its own. No human operator, no remote control, just pure autonomous hunting. The drone uses a coaxial dual rotor system that lets it carry twice its own weight in explosives while flying with bird-like agility. It can navigate indoors, outdoors, and it's completely unjammable. You cannot stop it with electronic warfare. But wait, it gets worse. You can launch this from a standard 35mm grenade launcher that's already mounted on rifles, or just toss it by hand. And they're designed to operate in swarms. And imagine hundreds of these things coordinating an attack simultaneously, each one picking its own target and engaging independently. China is already integrating these into their military at scale. Soldiers can carry them in their backpack pouches, deploy them in seconds, and send autonomous AI assassins into enemy positions while staying completely safe. When a weapon this small, this smart, and this deadly becomes standard military equipment, what happens when this technology inevitably spreads beyond just China?
You know why the chickens at Costco are like super affordable?
No, I don't.
It's actually kind of clever. So they put the chickens all the way in the back of the store, right? And you're thinking, oh, I'll just go grab a cheap chicken for dinner. Very easy, but like to get to that chicken, you end up walking past all this other stuff. You see like the sides, the potatoes, drinks, all the things. And then by the time you actually get to the chicken, you're like, maybe I should grab some mashed potatoes. Oh, and maybe some bread or dessert too. So it's almost like they're giving you one piece of the puzzle, but making you feel like you need more to make it complete. And it's not just Costco. Pretty much every big store does this. They kind of design it so you're like moving in one direction, and you end up seeing way more than you plan to. It's like a whole strategy to get you to buy more than you even thought about. Super smart, right?
Now, I don't know who was driving David's Tesla right before Celeste's body was found. So the guy that owns the house that David was staying in hired a private investigator, and that private investigator has found new evidence in the form of security footage that was from July 29, where you can clearly see somebody driving the Tesla. Where in this new footage, you can see that the person that is driving the Tesla rolls down the window and puts up an air freshener. And this is where it gets even more worse. The private investigator says that in the security camera footage, you can clearly see the person that is driving the car, and that this person is wearing something extremely distinctive, and that the person driving David's Tesla was wearing the same thing 12 hours earlier when they were caught on camera. However, this is where it gets even more insaner. Private investigator is playing this very smartly. The person in this video might have just been somebody that was asked to move the Tesla, and that this person may have not known that there was a body in the car, but that the private investigator finds that hard to believe. However, this is where it gets even more sadder, as they cannot disclose who this person was, and that on July 29th, within minutes of David's Tesla being parked for the final time, David's tour bus came to pick him up. Now, this is all alleged. Do you think David is innocent?
Tell me why there was two suns in Guatemala yesterday. Hold on, and that's not the only thing. Check this out. Now, you would think that this is a sun, y'all, but this is the moon. the moon in New Zealand. Why does the moon look like the sun? And why are we still seeing a blood moon? Why are we seeing this? Now, going back to the two suns, but this video right here was in Guatemala, and this is not the only one. I have a few videos of people seeing two suns all over the planet. We have one in Michigan and in Florida as well, too. But yeah, check this out, man. People are seeing the binary sun, aka Nibiru, is in the atmosphere. Look how much brighter this sun is, and it looks like it's got a dark ring in the background. Do y'all see this? Now check this one out over here. This one is in Michigan, all right? Two suns in the sky. Usually when we see the two suns in the sky, they're side by side of each other, y'all. But this one's literally on top of it. Y'all see that? Again, the bottom one is a lot more brighter than the one that's on. Now, these two suns were taken in my home state of Florida, right? Now, this one is side by side of each other. But why is everybody seeing two suns in the sky right now? And the fact of the matter is, I'm in the sun right now, and it feels like there's two suns in the sky because it is so hot in October. I remember a few years ago, it was chilly in October. Now, it's like 90 degrees in October. Now, back to this moon-looking sun over here, y'all. Did anybody else see this? And I'm just curious, why are we seeing a blood moon still? This is crazy. What a time to be alive. And nobody's talking about this. NASA's closed down. The government shut down. Times are interesting. Everybody feels something big is coming, but can't quite put a finger on it, y'all. I believe this has to do with the signs in the heavens. All of this is part of the shift. And I told y'all, this thing is going to intensify, y'all. But let me know down in the comments below, y'all. Did y'all see this? The two suns, the blood moon? Let's continue to get the shift, y'all. It's here. Peace.
Why you should never do this. This is 17-year-old Michael Dumas. He was on a church trip to Florida with some of his friends. While on this trip, they went to Pompano Beach, and he would be buried in the sand as you see here. He'd soon be unburied and all would be well until later that night when he would wake up in the middle of the night and be itching like crazy and sweating. At first, this would be labeled as an ear infection and he would be sent home with drops, but it would soon be obvious that that's not what it was, as he started to develop these raised, bumpy rashes. And he became pretty lethargic, just wanting to sleep all the time. It got even worse to the point where he was having these big, nasty blisters. And that's when he'd finally be diagnosed with cutaneous larva migrans, which is pretty much dog or cat hookworm. So pretty much these work by the dog or the cat pooping in the sand and contaminating it, and then not long after, these microscopic larvae hatch, and then you step in this contaminated sand and you end up looking like Michael. After all of this, he ended up developing a staph infection as well, and if it's not bad enough just him getting infected, 5 others from this trip got infected with hookworm as well.
Normal looking photos with disturbing backstories, part 2. This Snapchat was the last photo ever taken of Sydney Loof, a woman who was killed by her Tinder date. Her body was cut into 14 different pieces, and when it was brought back to the morgue, it was in 6 different bags. This man was transferring oxygen tanks for 12 boys and their coach. He didn't have enough oxygen for himself, however, and died after losing consciousness in one of the cave's passageways. This man is Issei Sagawa, an actual cannibal from Japan. This photo was taken by a Japanese magazine after he was released from prison for insanity. The man in this photo, Franklin Floyd, married a woman and had custody over her children while she was in prison for 30 days. The girl in this photo is one of her children, whom Floyd kidnapped to start a new life with. He left the other siblings behind, and after this photo was taken, he went to another state, changed both of their names, and claimed her as his biological daughter. Later, he went on to marry her.
Sorry
World
to
is a
scare you
weird
like this,
place.
The former Abercrombie & Fitch CEO was just arrested on serious charges and will probably be in prison for the rest of his life. So this is 80-year-old Mike Jeffries, the A&F CEO from 1992 to 2014. You might recognize him because he's been in hot water before, when an interview resurfaced from 2006. Where basically he said he wants cool, attractive people wearing A&F, and that fat, old, unattractive people can go somewhere else. In 2004, there was a class action lawsuit brought by minority employees who said that they were denied employment or forced to work in the back so customers didn't see them. A&F paid $40 million to settle that case. In 2005, there was some controversy surrounding shirts that read, quote, "Who needs a brain when you have these? Gentlemen prefer tickle bitties," and "Do I make you look fat?" So now let's get to the criminal allegations. Mike Jeffries, along with his partner and another man, were arrested yesterday. It is alleged that from 2008 to 2015, these men operated an international trafficking ring. Jeffries and others paid dozens of men to travel to various locations to hold these parties, basically equivalent to Diddy's freak-offs. And these young, vulnerable men were led to believe that this could lead to modeling opportunities and benefit their career. But when they arrived, all their personal items were taken, including cell phones, wallets, and clothing, and they were required to sign NDAs. Victims were injected with drugs, and even when they could not consent or did not consent, Jeffries and his partner would arbor them personally or use objects. The youngest victim was 19 years old, but it's believed that many, many more victims have yet to come forward. Mike Jeffrey and the other defendants face a minimum of 35 years in prison, which is a life sentence for the 80-year-old Mike Jeffries. However, he is free right now because he paid a $10 million bond.
These CEOs, man. How many more crooked CEOs in the world have to be exposed? You know, it's a long list. Whew. Be careful, man. Gotta keep our eyes sharp out here in these streets.
She must have been out of her head.
Not long after this woman vanished, all hell broke loose. Hi, my name is Ethan, and here's everything you need to know in under 1 minute. 35-year-old Crystal Rogers was living with her boyfriend Brooks Hugg and her children. On July 3rd, 2015, Brooks woke up and noticed that Crystal wasn't in bed and her car wasn't in the driveway. 2 days had gone by and no word from Crystal was given, until they found her car parked alongside the Bluegrass Parkway with a flat tire, the keys in ignition, and purse and phone in the passenger seat. Almost immediately, Crystal's family suspected her boyfriend Brooks. What's interesting is 16 months later, Crystal's father, Tommy Ballard, was hunting where an unknown subject fired a shot, hitting and unaliving him. Police are still looking for Crystal and also who unalived her father, and they believe the two cases are connected.
What do you guys think, Seekers?
Weirdest kid stories ever, part 24. So, next up we got some bubbles. And it's like a sword. You dip it in like the thing with all the bubble solution crap, and then blah blah blah, you blow your bubbles. But if you take a nice close look at the thing that holds the bubbles, it looks like a nice old dude.
This is why I would never understand fraternities or hazing or anything of that nature. This guy right here, his name was Danny, and he was 18 years old, attending the University of Missouri, not knowing that this one particular fraternity hazing event would lead to his life being forever changed. Now, this happened in 2021, and he was forced to drink 1 liter of vodka by himself, and he was seen on CCTV footage being carried downstairs. This had happened after he was being forced to go into a thing of broken glass, leaving him basically in crutches. But this particular evening, he was caught on CCTV footage being carried around onto a couch on CCTV footage, and then he was being dragged into a car, and I think he fell out the car at one point. And then he was taken to the hospital. At this point, he was already in cardiac arrest by the time he had got to the hospital. He was in a coma for a long time. He finally was able to get out of the coma. Unfortunately, he lost his ability to see, brain function, and this is him now, y'all. This is so sad. Please do not let fraternity, hazing, or any of that kind of stuff affect your life, because this is crazy to me. Like, this is not hazing. This is torture.
Creepy games from...
She was spitting facts, man. Like I said, some of those hazings, they're not even hazing. They just seems like it's a torture scheme. Like people trying to do that to fit and be cool, man. I'm cool off that. When it gets too extreme, y'all got that. I'm out. I'm my own person, man. I'm not going through all that crazy crap just so a bunch of people I know can accept me. If you can't accept me for who I am, why would I want to be friends with you?
From around the world, part 1. South Korea's The Elevator Game, which will supposedly take you to a whole nother dimension. The only thing you need for this game is an elevator, a building with 10 floors, and to be alone. So get in the elevator on the 1st floor, then push the 4th floor. Once you get to the 4th floor, don't get out. Push the 2nd floor. Once you get to the 2nd floor, push the 6th floor. Once you get to the 6th floor, push the 2nd floor. Once you get to the 2nd floor, push the 10th floor. Once you get to the 10th floor, push the 5th floor. That's when a woman may enter. Don't look at her, don't talk to her. Then push the 1st floor. If you start going up to the 10th floor, then you know it worked. Once you get to the 10th floor and get out, the woman may ask you, where are you going? Don't answer, but you'll know you've made it there because you're the only living thing there. But the hardest part isn't getting there, it's getting back.
Imagine
dropping your child at school.
I won't be playing that.
A day like any other. But instead of being called to pick her up, you're called to pick up her body. Here's what we know. On Wednesday, the 7th of August, after failing to return home after school, 16-year-old Devaney Null was reported missing. After a later police search of the Overberg High School premises, however, her body was discovered in a storage room. In the aftermath of the disturbing discovery, the school has been closed today, the 8th of August, and counseling services have been offered to both students as well as their parents. A murder case has also been opened, and the investigation has been transferred to the Provincial Serious and Violent Crimes Team. Anyone with information about the crime can contact Investigating Officer Leon, or alternatively the Crime Stop hotline. As always, I'll be sure to keep you updated.
As the renewed search for the missing Beaumont children reached its 4th day today, the brothers who said the prime suspect hired them to dig a grave-like hole at the site in 1966 have come to assist. So in 1966, Robin and David Harkin were paid by the prime suspect in the case, Harry Phipps, to dig a grave-like hole at the former Castlereagh factory that's southwest of Adelaide, not far from the beach where the Beaumont children disappeared, and this happened only days after the children went missing. The Harkin brothers were boys at the time, and they didn't really think anything of it until 2013 when a documentary featuring the missing Beaumont children was aired, and it discussed Harry Phipps as a potential suspect. Phipps didn't become a serious suspect until 2004 when he passed away and his son Hayden made allegations about him and about the day the Beaumont children disappeared. So when the brothers saw this documentary talking about the children and Harry Phipps, they recalled this hole that he paid them to dig just days after the children went missing. Over the years, there have been a few searches at this property, but to no avail. But on Saturday, an excavation of the property was organized by independent MP Frank Pancallo. This new dig is taking place before the government-owned land is sold to developers, and it is due to stop on March 1st. Pangallo said this new search is far more intensive than previous digs by police of the same site. Earlier this week, they discovered a hardened slab that was buried deep beneath the dirt that had never been found before. And then on day 4, the Harkin brothers arrived to assist. Pangallo said the information provided by the Harkin brothers has changed the direction of the dig, saying, quote, "The brothers were able to pinpoint the position they thought they had dug the hole. They provided a lot of useful information. They've given us a lot more clarity on where to dig. This dig is only set to continue through this weekend, so hopefully something is found and the Beaumont children can finally be found and their family and the community can finally have answers about what happened to them."
Justice for them.
Behind me are 38-year-old Crystal Turner and 24-year-old Caitlin Schultz. They were a married couple who absolutely loved camping and spending time in the outdoors, but the pair were last seen alive on the 13th of August 2021. They were last seen at a bar in Morb at 9:30 that night. Witnesses who had seen them at the bar claimed that nobody had followed them out that night. After no one had heard from the pair for a few days, Cailin's father contacted a friend who lived in the area where they were camping. And the father had said down the phone to Cailin's friend that Cailin and Crystal were a little bit concerned about a creeper dude that had been near their campsite. So the friend went to their campsite in the Las Sal Mountains, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. And this was on August 18th, 2021, so a couple of days after they'd last been heard from. And when they did this, they actually stumbled across their remains. And the worst part is they were on the phone with Cailin's father as they discovered them. And the friend then contacted the police. Both of them were found undressed from the waist down in a creek, and they had both been shot to death. And this case was pretty much cold, and it still kind of is. Now, this one is technically unsolved, and I'll explain why in a minute, but there's actually no way we can confirm who did it. And it wasn't until May 2022 when police said that they had a suspect in this case, and this suspect was called Adam. But however, Adam was reported to have left the state and then taken his own life. Adam had also confessed to another killing in that area as well and provided police with details that were not known to the public. The motive for the murder still remains completely unknown, and it's still not clear if this Adam character did actually murder them, and I suppose there's going to be no way to prove it because he's dead. But I just think this one is absolutely heartbreaking, and the pair deserved so much better.
Be careful when you're out. You never know, man. Dangers lurk around each and every single corner. Witness that firsthand. You know, if you're expert level seekers, man, you can see through all that. It's
Y'all, the Watts house has to be haunted, because tell me why the new owners of the Watts house are getting a divorce, and allegedly the dad, the husband, put his hands, or was some type of DV situation, or whatever the case may be, towards the wife. This is crazy. So basically the Watts house was put on the market after Shanann, Bella, and Cece were unalived by Chris Watts. It took a while for the house to sell. It was on the market for a long time. I want to say it was on there for $700,000, right? They went ahead and closed on the house, and from what it seemed like, everything was going well. Well, eventually, there was a report that there was a call from the wife. They also, mind you, have 2 daughters and 1 son. It's very similar to what Shanann and Chris, had. They were going to have a son, and they also had 2 daughters. Anyways, so there was a call of a domestic complaint, and the wife basically said that she felt like her husband was going to put his hands on her. I think he was, either maybe drunk or whatever the case may be. I'm not 100% sure, but there was some type of domestic dispute in the house. Now, he did get arrested, y'all. He did get arrested. I was able to find proof of his arrest. There is a record. Basically, you got to look into, I believe it was Frederick, Colorado. And yeah, it will come up. But anyways, he did get arrested, and they're selling the house. They're getting a divorce, selling the house, allegedly. Now the house is back on the market. I'm not 100% sure if it's sold to a new person yet or not, but it's back on the market again. Y'all, I feel like this house needs to be torn down and turned into a memorial at this point, because why is it every time they sell this house, it's getting back on the market?
This is a case that has continued to bother me. Sarah Kinslow was born on June 14th of 1986. She grew up with 3 siblings and 2 loving parents in Greenville, Texas. Growing up, she was very musically inclined. She even entered a women's composer competition, and she won first place. She was known to often do solos at her church, and she was just very talented when it came to music. Sarah was also a very happy child. It was well known that she loved the holidays, especially Christmas. Her parents said that she would wake up super early on Christmas morning and go wake up all of her siblings, and she couldn't contain her excitement to the point where she would grab her stockings and then go and jump in her parents' bed to open everything. But as Sarah started getting older, she started hitting a more rebellious streak. When she turned 14, she started staying out late, sneaking out. Like, she was just being kind of a rebellious teenager, and things seemed to get worse when she met 18-year-old Curtis Wayne Bell. And I don't have a picture of him. I'm sorry about that. Sarah's parents obviously did not approve of this relationship. They did not like Curtis, which is understandable because he was 18 and she was 14. Just the age difference that Sarah's parents didn't agree with. Curtis was also known to be a really not a great dude. He was very involved in drugs, and even Sarah's older brother, he was in jail for unknown reasons, and even he said that the inmates had told him that Curtis was not a good person and his younger sister should. But this did not stop Sarah. In fact, this would lead to a lot of arguments in the home, and even one night Sarah started packing up all of her stuff, and she told her parents that one day she would be gone. On May 1st of 2001, Sarah went to school early that morning. Her dad dropped her off around 7:20. They wanted to go early because Sarah had plans to meet with some of her friends. Sarah's dad left and then went about his day. It wasn't until later when Sarah didn't return home from school, and then the school eventually calling saying that Sarah had never been at school, that her parents got worried. They started questioning her friends and asking all of them where Sarah was. None of them knew where she had gone because they had plans that day to skip school and go to a local cemetery, but Sarah had never shown up, according to her friends. It was after this that Sarah's family decided to report her missing, and at first she was considered a runaway, and her parents agreed that she probably ran away. And it wasn't until all of the friends agreed to take a polygraph test, and all of them failed, that things started to get strange. Now, polygraph tests are not that reliable, but still it is worth noting. That's when police brought in dogs, and the dogs did track Sarah's scent for 2 blocks, but then it disappeared, so they believe that Sarah got into a vehicle. We'll get into more in part 2. Give me a couple minutes to get it up. It'll be down in the comments.
What is the craziest thing that someone's confessed to on their deathbed? Well, a deathbed confession made this year solved a 20-year-old cold case. And this is coming from the Heart Starts Pounding podcast episode that's all about cold cases that were solved this year. So this year in West Virginia, a man named Larry Webb was dying. And before he died, he called a nurse over and said he needed to get it off his chest that he killed a woman and her daughter back in 2000. It turns out that back then, a woman named Susan Carter and her 10-year-old daughter Alex were living with Larry while Susan was in a custody battle with Alex's father. One day they just disappeared, but because they were together when they disappeared, police assumed that Susan just ran away with her daughter. But Larry confirmed that that's not what happened. The story he gave on his deathbed is that one day he came home to see that Susan was stealing money from him, and so he shot her. And then panicking, he wanted to get rid of all the witnesses, and that included Alex, her daughter. And to me, the craziest thing in all of this is that Larry had really bad dementia, so when he gave this confession, they weren't really convinced that it was true. But the day after he died, both of their remains were found in his backyard. If you want to hear more on that story and other cold cases that were solved this year, check out the Cold Cases That Were Solved This Year episode of the Heart Starts Pounding podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
It goes to show you, man. People in their last moments, that's when they want to get the truth off their chest, man. Something about their last moments, man. They just want to go, I guess, into wherever they about to go, into with peace of mind, but the damage is done. Wonder how many other people, man, who are still holding in their secrets. You know what that is. All day, every day.
What is one true crime case that you just can't stop thinking about? I always wonder what really happened to 6-year-old Catherine Corzilius. On August 7th, 1996, Catherine, along with her mom Nancy and her brother Chris, were out running errands. Catherine's dad was Paul Corzilius, who at the time was the tour manager for John Bon Jovi. That day was Paul's birthday, so they were all out looking for a present for him. They all lived on Elder Circle, which is a small neighborhood near Austin, Texas. When they got back to Elder Circle, Catherine wanted to pick up the mail from the community mailbox and then walk home. The mailboxes were only about 1/8 of a mile from their home, and Catherine had done this a few times before, so her mom let her. Catherine would take the shorter route home, while her mom and brother would take the longer route around Elder Circle. This way, they would be getting home at almost the same time. But once Nancy and Chris got home, with still no sign of Catherine, Nancy sent Chris to go and look for her. But when Chris couldn't find her, Nancy started searching for her by car. Within minutes, they found her laying in the middle of the road on Elder Circle. She was unconscious, but still breathing. According to Nancy, she didn't want to make her daughter lay on the hot pavement, so she picked her up and took her to the hospital. Little Catherine suffered from a fractured skull and never regained consciousness, and sadly, she died later that day. Authorities initially thought that Catherine was a victim of a hit and run, but certain things didn't add up. Where Catherine's body was found was in an unusual spot. Her mom last saw her walking towards their house, but her body was found a little over a mile away from their home in the opposite direction that she was supposed to have gone. Catherine's body was actually found along the route that her mom and brother took to get home, and the autopsy only deepened the mystery. The autopsy showed that Catherine didn't die from a hit and run. Along with her head injury, she also had abrasions on her left shoulder, lower back, right hip, and her knees. The ME found that Catherine had either jumped, fallen, or was thrown from a moving vehicle. One theory investigators came up with was that Catherine maybe tried to hold on to the back of her mom's car on the drive home, but fell off. This would explain the location of where her body was found. But her family did not believe this, so they hired a PI. The PI noted that it was a really hot summer day, and at the time, Catherine's left thumb was broken and in a splint, so it would have been really difficult for her to hold on to anything. And it's likely her mom would have seen her in the rearview mirror. Catherine's family believes she was abducted and murdered. After her death, investigators brought in a canine unit that tracked her scent to a vacant lot 30 yards from the mailboxes, but it was lost after that. This sparked a theory that Catherine was approached by an attacker at the mailboxes, ran into the lot, was caught and thrown into a car, struck in the head, and then was thrown out of the vehicle where she was found. Nancy also stated that it appeared her daughter's body was laid out for her to find. Her hair was smoothed down, her clothes were straight, and her sandals were still on. Unfortunately, there's never been any answers in this case, and it's still labeled a suspicious death. John Bon Jovi wrote a song dedicated to Catherine called August 7, 415. And sadly, in March of 2020, Catherine's brother Chris, who grew up to be a police officer, was tragically killed in a car accident.
Man, it's a mysterious case. It used to be solved.
Hello, true crimers. It's time for another episode of Coldest Cases by State. Today, South Dakota. Brr. So, this is the kind of strange case of Arnold Archambault and Ruby Bruguier. They were actually part of the Yankton Sioux tribe. They were a happy couple and they had just recently had a baby. And then a tragedy happened on December 11th, 1992. So the two of them had joined Ruby's cousin, Tracy Dion, for a night of partying. Around 6 a.m. on December 12th, they would come home after the night of partying. But because they were still intoxicated, the babysitter, who was actually Tracy's father, said, "Can you please just come back later?" So they got back in the car. Arnold was driving the car. And just a few short minutes after they left the house, they would get involved in a car accident. The car had overturned. This is not the exact car, by the way. The witness would say that Arnold swerved because the road was icy, and then they flipped into this ditch. So this is when it gets kind of strange. Allegedly, Arnold is able to get out of the car, and he fled. Ruby then escapes the car, and she flees. Neither of them apparently helped Tracy. When paramedics arrived to the accident, they were able to save Tracy. She was honest. She said, "We've been drinking. I have no idea where my friends went." Police would only speculate that because of DWI laws that maybe they fled because they were scared of being arrested. Their families, however, would say no, they wouldn't do that, especially not to their baby. They searched the woods, and they never found this couple. They literally just poofed into thin air. And they conducted these searches for months. They should have been somewhere in the area. This is a still image pulled from Unsolved Mysteries, where this case actually aired. The OG Unsolved Mysteries. So this isn't the real scene. But in March of 1993, about 3 months later, in the ditch just 75 feet away from where the car accident happened, was the decomposed body of Ruby Brugier. The ditch had water in it, so the next day they pumped out the water, and in that same area they found the decomposed body of Arnold Archambault. It was only like 15-20 feet away from where Ruby was. You know what's stranger? He wasn't as badly decomposed as Ruby was. They also found a tuft of Ruby's hair at the crime scene, which is very odd. The autopsy would show they died of exposure. A witness said they saw Ruby and Arnold at a New Year's Eve party 3 weeks after the accident. That witness took a polygraph and passed. Police say foul play wasn't involved. Were they murdered? How come they're in the same spot as the car accident, months later? This one is so weird, right?
Yeah. Definitely seems like...
After an accident, Jason Padgett was a party animal who hated school and got terrible grades. But one day, two men savagely robbed and attacked Jason outside of a karaoke bar, leaving him with a severe concussion. The concussion caused him to become a mathematical genius and made him learn fractal geometry, which he had never been taught before. When Derek Amato was 39 years old, he hit his head after diving into a swimming pool and was diagnosed with a concussion and 35% hearing loss. After that, Derek began to see black and white keys in his head, and out of nowhere, he began to play the piano like an expert. Ben McMahon was in a car accident in 2015 and fell into a coma for a week. When he woke up, he could speak perfect Chinese, even though he had only learned the basics as a child. Tony Cicerio was struck by lightning after making a call in a phone booth. Within a couple of days, he was addicted to music, which he wasn't before. After trying the piano, he became a musical artist, composing his own music.
Man, they were like getting real life superpowers, bro.
Top 3 urban legends that turned out to be true. Part 1. Number 3. The sewer crocodile. One of the most famous urban legends is about a crocodile living in the city sewers. While it may sound unbelievable, there have been several cases where crocodiles have been found in sewer systems. For example, in 2010, a young crocodile was discovered in the sewers of New York City, confirming the truth behind this urban legend. Number 2. Spiders and bananas. According to this urban legend, venomous spiders frequently hide in imported banana bunches. This story has proven to be true on multiple occasions. In 2005, a British family found a venomous spider, known as the Brazilian wandering spider, in a bunch of bananas they purchased from a supermarket. This case confirmed that there is some truth to this urban legend. Number 1. The killer. Hiding in the back seat. This urban legend tells the story of a psychopathic killer who hides in the back seat of a person's car and attacks when they are distracted. While it's difficult to find specific cases that exactly match this legend, there have been incidents where dangerous individuals have gained access to the back seat of cars and attacked their occupants. These events have confirmed the importance of being cautious and checking the inside of one's car.
So I found these conspiracy theories that are so believable, they actually might be true.
Talk about
Number
it.
1, Studies show that cats understand human commands but don't care to follow them. Yeah, I don't like cats. I'm a dog kind of guy. Number 2, it is believed that when you die in a dream, you wake up because your brain doesn't know how to process the idea of what comes after death. Could be. I believe it. Number 3, now this is scary. The reason Disney came out with a movie called Frozen was so that when you Googled Disney Frozen, you would get information about the movie and not the websites talking about Walt Disney's body being frozen. I mean, I did see an article about this that was published in 1995. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I do believe it. This is where it gets freaky. Number 4, Mike Tyson's fight, time traveler. This fight was in 1995. If you look closely, you can see that could be a smartphone. In fact, it does look like a smartphone to me. There were no smartphones in 1995. This is how phones used to look like in 1995. They didn't have cameras. They barely had any color. But this thing double flashed, exactly like how an iPhone or an Android would take a picture. I don't know about time travel, but this is very interesting. I'd really like to know what this thing was. What's the creepiest conspiracy theory that you heard of?
I think the one that got to me was probably like the time travel joint by Mike Tyson, because he showed us a graphic of those phones. They did not match up at all. I don't know if that could have been like a different version of prototype or something, man, or a different type of camera, but I think that one got to me the most, man. Time travel.
The 3 most dangerous places you should never set foot. Number 3, the Hoia Baciu Forest, located in Romania, is often dubbed the Haunted Forest due to the many paranormal stories reported there. Many visitors have described feelings of anxiety, a sense of being watched, and some even claim to have seen ghostly apparitions. In addition to the inexplicable phenomena, the forest features oddly shaped trees in areas where vegetation doesn't grow at all, heightening its mysterious ambience. Number 2, the Chernobyl zone in Ukraine is the site of the biggest nuclear disaster in history. In 1986, a reactor at the nuclear power plant exploded, releasing significant amounts of radioactive material into the environment. Today, while some parts of the region are open for strictly controlled tours, others remain highly contaminated by radiation and can pose a severe health hazard. It's crucial to adhere to safety guidelines and not stray off marked paths. Number 1. The Valley of the Kings in Egypt, located on the west bank of the Nile near Luxor, is famous for its royal tombs dating back to ancient Egypt. While it's a popular tourist destination, it comes with risks. Beyond natural dangers like extreme heat and the risk of dehydration, there have been speculations and legends about the Pharaoh's curse, where those who disturb the Pharaoh's tombs would be cursed.
This might ruin your
I ain't going there.
But in the movie Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, there's a really dark joke in there that a lot of people missed. In this scene, you can see the presidents of Mount Rushmore getting pied in the face. But pay attention to Abraham Lincoln. Unlike the other presidents, he gets pied in the back of the head, which is exactly how he was assassinated in life.
Oh, what? I never even picked up on that, man. These movies, man, they have hidden messages. When you're a kid, you just don't get it.
What is going on here? This robot is literally serving drinks at a bar at an event recently hosted by Elon Musk.
There you go.
Our robot.
Everybody, get pictures. Get my good side. Optimus number 1. Robots are the future. How's it going, sir? What can I get you? Watermelon. You want a watermelon? Yeah. I can't convince you to get the robot? Yeah. Okay, I'll get you one. Just kidding.
No!
How's your night going so far? There you go. Ice cold beverage.
Now, this robot created by Elon, which he named Optimus, isn't only capable of serving drinks. Apparently, it can do a lot more. Apparently, Optimus can dance and interact with people, and it can do things around the house like cleaning, cooking, mowing the lawn, taking out the garbage, walking your dogs, and also babysitting. I'm sorry, but if this robot can actually do all these things, then I don't see how people wouldn't want one. Tesla's vision for Optimus is so that people can integrate this robot in their everyday lives so that it can do things that we don't want to do or things that are just repetitive or dangerous. When I first saw this, I immediately thought about iRobot, which came out in 2004, which is funny because the director of iRobot recently accused Elon of copying his designs for his new Tesla products, and he tweeted this. Now, if you see a side by side, you can kind of see a resemblance. It's been said that Optimus would first be used internally at Tesla facilities, and then it will expand its productions for other companies, and then eventually for the general public. So it's possible that you can have one of these in your house by 2027. Now, the price for one of these is around 20 to 30K, and Elon mentioned that he is aiming to make it more affordable so that more people can buy it. But if Optimus can really cook, clean, and do my laundry, take my money, Elon. No, but seriously, would you guys actually drop this much money for this? Let me know.
I'll speak for me. No! No! Like, our robot was the blueprint. Didn't you not see what happened in that movie, man? The side-by-side comparisons. The designs, they too similar to me, bro. We seen how that game. They trying to rise up against us. No. I will not be getting that Tesla bot. No. I can't do that.
Conspiracy theory claims that the show was inspired by events that happened in a Bulgarian mental facility called La La Land. Children there were isolated from the others and placed in dark rooms. But apparently 4 of those children died on the same day, inspiring the Teletubbies. Lala apparently had facial disfigurement and was isolated for 5 years, and that inspired the Teletubby Lala. Toy was a deaf, facially disfigured kid who was tied to a fence outside and had gotten frostbitten from the cold. This inspired Tinky Winky. Donka, who was starved and was very, very sick, would lay in his own vomit for days, inspired Dipsy. And finally, Paulina, who had fell into a fire and was roasted alive, inspired Pup. But you won't believe the reason they were called the Teletubbies. You see, the children's main source of entertainment in their rooms were their TVs. They were as small as a small iPad. Sometimes when they heard their toys was going to be confiscated, they would hide them in their mouths. And they had just found out that the institution was going to get rid of the TVs. And they didn't want that, and they couldn't hide the TVs in their mouths. So one of them had the great idea to hide them in their stomachs, because that's the only place they could fit. Mind you, these kids are a little bit not all the way there. So they came up with a plan to rip their insides out in order to fit the TVs inside and hide them. They tried it, and the next morning, the caregiver walked in on all 4 children, dead.
These are facts about Halloween that I bet
Dark
you didn't
Origins.
know. Up first, Halloween is extremely old. Halloween is thought to have originated in 4000 BC, which means Halloween has been around for more than 6,000 years. This is extremely crazy, and I never knew it was this old. Up next, jack-o'-lanterns are actually named after a stingy man named Jack, who, because he tricked the devil several times, he was forbidden access to heaven and hell. He was then condemned to wander Earth, waving his lantern to lead people away from their paths. Next up is a pretty crazy statistic. Americans alone will buy more than 600 million pounds of candy on Halloween. I don't even know why there is this much candy available to buy. And the crazy thing is, I guarantee all this candy gets eaten.
Man, I didn't know Halloween was that old, bro. 6,000 years? How old are the other holidays? Before? He's sitting up.
The
The strangest places in the world, part 1. Firstly, on top of a hill in Pennsylvania, some stones can be found that shouldn't actually be there, because there's no nearby high terrain where they could have originated. These are called the ringing rocks, because whenever something hits these stones, they make a strange ringing noise. Next is the petrifying well in England, where water flows from a rock and turns whatever it touches into stone. As you can see, people often leave items like hats, teddy bears, or even bicycles, which appear to have already been turned into stone. Some people believe there's a mystical power, but the scientific reason behind this is the unusually high mineral content in the water, which forms a hard mineral shell on any object it comes into contact with. And within a few months, everything essentially becomes a stone statue.
This is the power of time. These are the footprints of the monk Hachi. He stood in his temple for so many years that the floorboards warped around his feet. He prays over 3,000 times a day and always stands in the same place. This bronze arm was attached to a tree when it was just a baby. It was attached in 1968 and the tree actually grew around it. And today the arm is permanently attached to the tree. And this is a corner of a bike store that's been around for over 50 years. Customers park there every day and it's been wearing down ever since.
Hell in different religions, part 2.
Time is powerful.
Buddhism. In Buddhism, after you die, you can be reborn into one of the 6 realms of reincarnation. Which realm you'll be put into depends on your actions in your previous life. The lowest realm possible is the realm of Naraka, which is hell. And there are different Narakas you can be put into, it just depends on how bad you were in your previous life. Each of these Narakas having vastly different punishments. And the climates in the different Narakas can range from incredibly cold to boiling hot. But the time spent in Naraka is never eternal. Once you've served your punishment, you'll be reborn once again. But the time one does spend in Naraka can be hundreds of millions of years, or well beyond that.
That long down there? Hundreds of millions of years?
The Muffin Man is actually a serial killer. You know the Muffin Man nursery rhyme, right? But did you know it was based on a dark, true story? 1 second. Chocolate chip. Tastes like your mama wanted. But yeah, the story is darker than you think. Because in the 1800s, there was a man named Frederick Thomas Linwood. And he would wait lurking in alleys, looking for his next victims. And they would always be kids. You see, he would kidnap them and unalive them, luring them in with muffins. I mean, what kid wouldn't want a tasty snack? When the townspeople got word of what was happening, they decided to come together and figure out a way to prevent this, to spread awareness amongst the kids and keep them safe, warning them about the Muffin Man, who was a danger on Drury Lane. You're walking past the alleyway, and the Muffin Man gets you. Your fourth act sees this and tries to rescue you. Let me know who it is and let me know if you think you'd be doomed or not. Anyways, he's one of the first documented serial killers in the world. And everyone still teaches this song to their kids, even children TV shows. And yet nobody knows that.
The Muffin Man? You know I know the Muffin Man because of Shaq. The Muffin Man? Did I find out that it really was a dark origins? The first documented, you know what, man? Oh, they put this stuff in our medias when we're kids and things, but like I said, we never notice it, man. Once you grow up, bro, you realize your childhood is very different.
You won't believe this little boy actually exists. This boy, 9-year-old Swede from China, was born with glowing eyes. People were curious why his eyes glow blue, so they ran a test on him. They put him in pitch black with cards and a note, and he read them perfectly. His eyes seem to have a genetic ability of cats and other nocturnal animals. Scientists have been a little skeptical, but people say he can see in full darkness perfectly, like a superhero.
Damn. He got night vision, bro.
In the year 2067, you'll have to pay for oxygen or suffocate to death. This movie is called 2067 and we have to talk about it. It's set in the future after climate change destroyed all plants on Earth. In Australia, only one city survived. And that's because of a company called Chronocorp Corporation and they make artificial oxygen. But breathing in this artificial oxygen causes a strange sickness over time. Here's where the main character Ethan White comes in. He's a mechanic at the company, but one day everything changes. The leader of the company calls Ethan into their lab and revealed this giant machine. She says Ethan is the only person who can stop humanity from going extinct and Ethan is confused. Then we see Ethan has like a weird device on his wrist. And we find out 20 years ago his dad put that device on him for an experiment and never told him. Turns out this machine is actually pretty much a time machine. And it sent back a secret message from the future. When they decoded the message, they realized it said send Ethan White. Ethan obviously does not want to go, but his wife is sick from breathing in too much artificial oxygen, so he finally agrees, leaves her a note, and goes into the time machine to be sent to the year 2474. When he gets there, he realizes all the plants have been restored, but no humans are anywhere. Then he finds a locked door with a skeleton in front of it. As he looks closer, he realizes the skeleton is himself. It even has the same wrist device, except the light is turned green. So why did his dad actually put that device on him all those years ago? And why is he the chosen one to save humanity? There's a huge plot twist in the end, and I just thought this story was so interesting. So go watch it and let me know what you think. And follow for more movies and stories.
Should I check that out, man? That actually piqued my interest. I wonder what that plot twist is, man. Any of you seekers actually watched that movie 2067? I'm gonna have to check that out.
3 extremely disturbing facts you won't believe are actually true. Number 3. In a bizarre case, an Ohio man was mistakenly declared dead by the Social Security Administration in 1979. Upon discovering this error in 1994, he immediately initiated legal action to restore his status as a living person. However, a judge refused to overturn the decision, stating that there was a 3-year limit to challenge such a declaration.
What?
As a result, this man is legally living as a deceased person in his own country. Number 2. There's a disturbing practice at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. The chicks that hatch live in front of visitors in their chick hatching exhibit are then sent to the Brookfield Zoo where they are fed to predator animals. This is a shocking truth hidden behind a seemingly innocent exhibit. Number 1. Disneyland and Disney World are iconic places, often associated with joyful family memories. However, there's a strange phenomenon that occurs in these parks. People so frequently scatter the ashes of their loved ones there that Disney had to establish a special procedure to deal with it. A dedicated team is ready to intervene as soon as an ash scattering is reported, cleaning up the area to maintain the park's joyful atmosphere.
Here's some facts that'll instantly make you smarter. Part 1. Bananas are not actually fruits, they're herbs. And this is because the stem of the banana is succulent and not wood. Scientists say that it's less likely to rain on a Monday than any other day of the week. Reason is that Mondays carry less pollution over the weekend. If you drop a piece of toast, it'll almost always land butter side down. Try this one out and let me know. And finally, the hardest language for an English speaker to learn is Japanese, Chinese, Arabic, or Korean.
Wow, really?
Scary facts that will make your skin crawl. PT.3. If you're wearing earplugs listening to music, and you hear someone calling you or the door knocking, there is no one calling. It's the ghost informing you of their presence. The inventors of the Ouija board claim it got its name when they asked it what it should be called. They also asked it what Ouija meant, and it replied, "Good luck." If you're walking and you feel someone behind you, it's a ghost looking at you. The human body can feel the presence of ghosts.
I think I felt something like that before, man. When somebody's staring at you, but you can't identify what it is. I feel like a chill down my spine. Is this cap a fact, man? They put a GoPro on a shark? But that is true, man. Like how... Isn't it scary how, like, they said, like, 80% of our ocean is, like, undiscovered, or we haven't even, like, reached the full potential of it yet? So there's things down there that we don't even have no idea what it is. If you think about it, man. Something to think on. We hear that? I'm hitting the jets. I'm out.
Today I learned that if your parent calls you by your sibling's name, it's not because they're playing favorites, but rather it's a cognitive glitch. This misnaming phenomenon is due to our mental semantic network categorizing people into different social groups or relationship bonds, according to a 2016 study published in the Memory and Cognition Journal by Samantha Deffler. When I say spoon, you might think of a fork. Similarly, when a mom calls for her daughter, the concept of her daughter is also linked to her son. So she may accidentally call her daughter by her son's name. It was also found that some family members accidentally call each other by their family's dog's name. Steffler also recalls one young man accidentally calling his girlfriend by his sister's name, to which the girlfriend responded, "That's probably a bad sign." Misnaming also occur phonetically when initial or internal sounds sound the same, like John, Johnny, or Bob, but physical appearance and gender was proven to not be a factor. So next time someone calls you by a different name, don't take it personally, but it does give you a clue that your name belongs to a certain relationship bond in that person's mind. Alright, that's all. This is Shankstuff, over and out.
Interesting facts.
Different sizes of animal eggs. We're starting off with really tiny eggs.
Okay.
So, obviously, these ones are no bigger than a Tic Tac. But don't worry, guys. We're gonna get much, much bigger.
Wow, okay.
Platypus. I didn't know platypus had really tiny eggs.
Damn.
Sea turtles? Yes, okay.
American Islands,
Quail
quail.
eggs. Now, have you guys tried quail eggs? I definitely have, and they're very, very tasty. Chicken eggs, the average. That's the standard.
That's
for
the
eggs,
biggest
right?
one.
Crocodile eggs. They look like Tic Tacs, honestly.
Kiwi,
eggs.
damn.
How do they even come out of that? Of the kiwi
A
bird?
flamingo, I'm guessing.
Okay, dragon eggs. I didn't know they existed. Okay, I thought it was a mammoth, and mammoth could lay eggs, but obviously it don't. It was a mammoth bird.
Xenomorph, what the
So getting in territories where these animals don't exist, and Godzilla egg is taller than a human.
Gained. You piecing together the story seekers, man. We learned that. Scared together. If you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a truth seeker seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Make sure you guys comment down below. Follow me on my social medias. Subscribe to the channel. You guys gonna catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.